Two idiots talking over stuff. Talking over. Talking over. Talking over.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, we got a podcast?
What's up, you fucking idiot? Is that a good way to start?
What a strong energy to start off with. What's
Should we do
up,
that every
fellow
week?
idiot?
No, I didn't say fellow. I was like, you
I know, I was saying that in return. Sure, what a great intro.
Hi,
Wow.
Felicia.
Hi, Jesse.
What's your social media looking like over there?
Just right off the bat, before you even know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, we gotta tell these people where to find us.
I'm at Felicia3 on Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm at Al by Night on Twitter and Instagram. And our show social media, our website's at www.idiots.fm, which I just launched today.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Looking pretty good. If you want to email those questions or requests or anything like that, you could do it at hello@idiots.fm.
I like it.
And at the top of the website, there's a Discord link, which nobody is on. So you could be lucky number one in our Discord.
And
There's
we'll
not
always love you the most.
Sure will. And there's not a soul in there.
Not even
right
me.
now. And our social media is at Tito's Pod everywhere. But we're probably just going to be active on Twitter and maybe Instagram to start with.
Heck
But
yeah.
if you want to follow us everywhere else, you can do that. And there's links at the top of the website for that stuff too.
Wow, so official. We have so many different things that you can find us on.
Yeah, and one of us might post there.
Which one? You have to find out.
You'll never know. You'll never know which one of us remembers to post there.
No, but you'll know once we post which one of us it is. I'll start off by just disclaiming that both of us have cats. So you might hear tiny cat sounds from time to time. And I say that because my cat just fully tried to walk across my keyboard. So
and your microphone is not stable.
No. Nothing like a good quality mic that could tip over at any moment.
I might not edit the first tip over out of the show.
It shouldn't happen again. I was just still hooking stuff up. But yeah, I did have one tip over today.
Email us at hello@idiots.fm and let us know if you want to hear every tip over of Felicia's shoddy microphone setup.
You know, we can't all be professional podcasters, okay? Maybe eventually, but certainly not now.
Okay, so this is our brand new show.
Yes.
Where we watch stuff together. But we thought if we just posted watch-alongs, if we just posted videos of us watching movies, that we wouldn't get many weekly listeners, which means we wouldn't get much traction. So we decided to do a show where we provide some information too. So we're gonna have this weekly, a weekly show like this type of format where it's just kind of casual, and we're gonna provide any standout TV or movie news for the week, what's coming out in theaters this week. And then I think we're going to do a thing where we guess at the Rotten Tomatoes critic and user ratings for the movie.
Yeah.
With the idea that we guess now and we keep track of it. And then when it comes around later on, when it comes out on streaming, we'll see if we're right.
And we can do polls and stuff and just see how right y'all are as well.
Yeah, we could do that.
I
have to figure out how to set that up. I'm not done setting stuff up. There's a lot of stuff to do on the Discord currently, but not everything that you can do is there yet.
Yes. This is our working stuff out episode.
Yeah, we both have jobs.
Fucking boring.
Boring jobs, which is why I sound a little punch drunk, maybe.
Yeah, this is going to be a slightly low energy late Tuesday afternoon recording. In the future, we'll have better, more organized setups. But this is a little spur of the moment. We wanted to get it rolling. We got art, we got website, we got Discord. So now we need, content.
We need content. We need listeners.
Yeah. So for this first episode, we want to start off kind of as a get to know you episode. Who are we? What do you think about that?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who am I? I don't even know sometimes.
Who are we? So if we want to roll right into it,
yeah, are we a couple?
We're not a couple. We just wanted to get ahead of that because y'all freaks love to ship any two people who do anything together. Which I'm not guiltless of. So no, we're not a couple. Jesse is actually happily married to his lovely wife Miriam and has been for 15 years.
15 years, and we've been together for 20.
Heck yeah. And I am not.
Are we talking single?
Oh, yes, that's not an invitation, by the way. But
what if there's some guy that looks like Hell on Wheels boy listening right now?
HMU, but on the sly. And you need to be real self-aware.
Self-aware about what?
About actually looking like Hell on Wheels guy.
Oh. No, I mean literally. What if someone gets in your DMs and they've got they're holding a newspaper with the day's date and they look like that wet boy? People with no reference point are going to be real confused.
We'll get into it, I guarantee.
You're not going to make me watch that on this, are you?
No.
Please, no.
Maybe. But anyway, so no, we're not a couple. We're just a couple of pals.
Yeah, we met during the pandemic.
Which is rolling into number 2 here. I don't know if we're doing this numbered or not, but we wrote some preset questions that we're each going to answer, some on behalf of each other, which will be fun. But yeah, we met, I guess, it was during the pandemic. I feel like I knew of you before that, but I hadn't really interacted with you yet.
I think maybe it was right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because it was Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Falzone from SourceFed. Name drop. But you knew him from his walk and talks. I know him from SourceFed.
Yeah.
You knew him from earlier than that.
Oh, I didn't know you knew him from SourceFed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my introduction.
Interesting.
I liked him a lot, actually. And he likes to pretend that that's not normal. But I feel like lots of people liked Mike on SourceFed.
Well, you're just a lesser fan. It's fine.
What do you... Was it that... When did he start? 2007?
Yeah, something like that. But he joined SourceFed real late. Anyway, this is real tangent-y.
Yeah, real tangential.
But anyway, he has a podcast called Welcome to Our Podcast, which he does with his wife Zoya, who we also love very much.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a Discord community, which Jesse built the Discord essentially.
Yeah, I built it out. Mike started it, and then I reached out to him, and I was like, "Hey, I'm a nerd, and I'll run that for you if you want." And they kind of knew me a little bit because he's got another podcast called Dynamic Banter, and I'm #1 fan of that. And I would communicate with them on that show, so he knew me a little bit, just enough to trust me to run the Discord for him.
Yeah, and from there we kind of built a group of mods who would make sure nobody was being a big asshole on that Discord channel.
It's not really a problem.
No. And I was one of the mods, and when pandemic hit, that group got close and started doing stuff together, watching things.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, I have this memory of kind of the first time we really interacted during like a voice chat type thing. I, for some reason, was pretending to be inside your head. And I kept saying things like, oh my God, why is there so much liquid in here?
I don't remember any of that.
I
Are
remember.
you sure that
I'm
happened?
positive. And it was literally like the first time we ever talked.
Holy Christ. I don't remember that at all.
Wow, I'm really offended.
Well,
No,
I have goldfish memories.
I know.
So,
But no, it stuck out to me because I was kind of like, okay, we're gonna get along just fine. Like we're vibing
yeah,
immediately. Yeah.
which is not surprising. Like same sense of humor. I think
Yeah.
everybody in that server has the same sense of humor
I'm
for the
gonna
most part.
like during this episode, I'm gonna be very nice to you, which is don't get used to it, okay? So like Jesse has this ability to make me like scream laugh. Like just so many of the things that you say are just so unexpected and like
Yeah,
always catch me off guard and make me absolutely die. So
which is like my
I think
favorite thing to do. I
yeah.
think that's a big part of our chemistry too. Is like I like to make people laugh, and you laugh at everything I say, and sometimes you break,
Oh yeah.
and that's the best feeling.
It's because I like half the stuff that comes out of your mouth just sweeps just like sweeps my legs out from under me. So I'm sure you'll hear lots of that in this show, but like
I
that's
hope
kind
so.
of my immediate impression.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn to say nice things about me. No, I'm just kidding.
Felicia's okay. We met during this we really met during the pandemic, but I feel like we didn't talk a ton until we started doing stuff in VR. Is that accurate?
No.
I feel like we talked a good amount, but maybe
Yeah,
I
like
shouldn't say talk. Maybe we didn't watch stuff together a ton.
we had started watching stuff together through Discord, but not as much just the two of us. It was usually like a group of us.
Maybe
Um
I'm conflating shit. Was it horror that we started watching?
Probably because
Okay.
that's a lot of
That's
my experience.
That's what I'm conflating. So I never really got into horror that much until
Mhm.
VR started.
Right.
So then I got interested in horror, and I knew you worked as a writer for Fright Day,
Mhm.
which is a horror blog and podcast,
Yes.
and I knew you would have the good on the horror recommendations.
And how do you feel about that now?
What do you mean? Oh,
Do you s-
uh, mostly good. I feel like your
That's good.
recommendations are good. There's some weird shit
Heck
in
yeah.
there.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit in there.
We're
I
gonna
hold
end up
back a
watching
lot.
some weird shit on this show.
Oh, totally. And you can't blame me for that entirely, but it's probably going to be
No.
like 80-20.
Yeah, I watched some weird shit too, but I'm like
Yeah.
I think I'm way more of a mainstream type of person. I watch a lot of popular media.
Yeah, and for me, I think that I just for such a long time was only hyper aware of horror because of working for Fright Day and not being up on anything else. Like
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of new shows and movies coming out just because I don't know about them. But Fright Day, you kind of had to be on the pulse, so I would know about all the new stuff coming out, and that just became what I watched for the most part for all that time. I still
Right.
write for them, just not very often.
Yeah. And I read what you write, and then I forget it.
Well, thanks. That means you just can watch it or listen. Nope, read it more.
I think I have I've read one of your articles at least 3 times.
Wow.
Um
You're the only one. Congratulations.
I want to say it's like a Christmas type a movie thing.
Probably. I've done a couple of those. We started a series called like essentially equating childhood movies to actually being horror movies. So I did one on the Santa Claus and
Right, that's right.
compared it to The Fly as
That's the
body
one.
horror. Yeah, I
That's the
thought
one.
so.
You're gonna learn throughout this show that I have the weirdest brain in the history of brains, because I have like a perfect memory for some things, and for other things I have nothing.
It's
Like
true.
as soon as it comes in, I don't have it anymore.
Yeah. Well, you can filter out what's important for the
Yeah.
most part. Yeah. And like that's not something that I expect oh, you think this I expect you to remember that I compared the Santa Claus to the Fly that one time.
Well, on a friend level, I'm very empathetic. So I
Mhm.
feel bad when I can't remember that kind of thing, but I will bust out some random fact about your childhood that you told me one time every now and again.
I
That's just
kind of have that too, where I'll remember like your least favorite candy forever, but not like something more significant.
yeah. Your brother has a bowl cut in a picture somewhere in your mom's house.
My brother had a bowl cut phase. There's lots of pictures.
That's just like one example that I have. I just
Yeah.
remember weird shit and completely nothing else. Where were we? Oh, VR.
Those
So
two questions.
I was watching more horror in VR, and I wanted to watch more horror because I didn't realize I liked it. I used to be kind of freaked out by it, but as I got older, I guess whatever that went away.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being freaked out, I started laughing at it, which was an important transition in my enjoyment of horror.
I guess also not always what you want. I would assume you sometimes want to be scared, not just find it funny.
I'm almost never scared. You showed me, I wouldn't say scared, I get unsettled.
Yeah.
You showed me some weird torture porn shit, like a cult on an island.
Yeah.
What? I don't know what that was called, but it freaked me out.
Oh, good. That was called Apostle. It's a Netflix original cult, like folk horror type deal, which is why I love it. And also Dan Stevens is in it, whomst I love. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it is a very, as Byron described it, wet movie.
Dude, it's wet, and they just keep ratcheting up the terrible shit that they're doing to these people.
Yeah.
It's horrible, into a nice little
Then,
crescendo.
yeah, but then he like becomes one with the plants, and that's all I want, you know?
I guess.
Anyway.
I don't know. I'll never watch it again, but
I watched it.
you like yeah, you like weird shit like that, which I think is
Yeah.
cool.
Heck yeah.
And I think that's a nice thing that I could say.
Thank you.
you'll
You like
basically-
weird shit. That's a nice
Yeah,
thing.
you like weird shit, but you have good taste about weird shit. But at the
Wow,
same
thank
time,
you.
I think you'll give anything a chance for the most part.
Yeah.
And that's where we really clicked, I think, because
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I'll give anything a shot.
We
So-
kind of like filled in each other's film gaps in a weird way. Like
Yeah.
you're saying that I did that for you for horror, and you're kind of doing that for me for like classic movies. Not
Yeah.
even classics, but just like cult movies that I should have seen at this point and haven't for whatever reason. So like
Dude, when we start doing those, I think those are going to end up getting the most views for us.
yeah, I think people are going to be surprised by the amount of things I've just never seen.
Yeah, which is another reason why I think this show's a great idea, because you haven't seen so much shit, and it's going to be really fun to introduce you to stuff like The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, see, when Jesse and I first started watching stuff together,
Here goes a cat.
That's a siren, I think.
No, that's a cat. My wife has gone to
Oh.
bed. So she gets a toy and drags it around the house and does that.
Oh, I hear her. Special guest.
Special guest Jester. I'm sorry I cut you off.
She's so cute. So what I was going to say is like towards the beginning of our friendship, I really tried like not just our friendship, but any friendship, I try to curate the movie that I show you to your tastes and like
Hmm.
try to gauge your threshold for weird shit.
Hmm.
And I think like when we first started watching stuff, I was playing it safe and showing you things that I knew were good and would go over well. And then we reached a certain point and I kind of ran out of those kind of movies and then just went, you're down for anything. Let's break out the weird shit.
Yeah, that happened for me too.
Yeah.
I think that's just natural progression.
Yeah. Although I mean, you still have a lot of normal things to show me. At this point, I'm just like, hey, let's watch the one about mutant shark people.
Yeah. And there's stuff I'm holding back on too. There's like a lot of sports movies and a lot of like dumb comedies. Like I remember I thought you were gonna hate Superbad,
No.
which you
Uh
didn't,
no,
to
I
your
didn't.
credit.
I really honestly haven't hated anything you've shown me. And
No.
we're jumping all over our questions here, but it's
Yeah.
fine. We'll come back to these in a little bit more detail. Do you want to go ahead and for now describe why we're not going to be having face cams on the show?
Oh shit. Yeah, my brain freaks the fuck out when people look at me. Is that a good way to put it?
Short and sweet.
I've tried to figure out a short and sweet way to say it. It's not really that easy though, but I have like
Yeah.
my brain does weird things when people look at me, and that like um I internalize like fake inner dialogues for people. I've still not found a good way to describe this where people understand it immediately.
Yeah.
But I got diagnosed with agoraphobia, so I'll start there. Most people know what that is,
Yeah.
where it's like a fear of the outside. But my flavor particularly is that when I go outside of my house, I think like the entire world is staring into my brain.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it's not great. But I've like learned to live with it and I'm pretty comfortable now. But when I started out on the internet, it was like a utopian experience for me. And that was, I'm 40 now. I don't know if you want to say your age or care,
That's
but
fine. Yeah, I'm 29.
yeah. So I'm 40 and I was on the internet in like, I want to say like 1993.
That's when
So,
I was born.
so I've been on the internet as long as you've been alive. That's cool. But when I started there was like no pictures.
Hmm.
So it was, and I've always felt this way. This like agoraphobia type thing has always been in me, but it really hit me like a freight train in my late teens. But when I was in school, I was never comfortable by any means, but it wasn't like debilitating at that point. But so when I found the internet, it was a way to like just be represented by my thoughts, which was absolutely utopian. But then as technology progressed and digital cameras started coming in, like more and more people were putting their real lives on the internet. So there was like this convergence where me and my other internet people who were anonymous and happy about it started to like merge with the real life people and social media and stuff. And there was a point, I don't know when that point was, but there was a point where it crossed over where me without my face picture became the weirdo. It was like
Yeah.
in that scenario. Um, so I started like having to explain this in more detail than I normally would. And now it's crazy. So like, especially during the pandemic where everyone was like super horny for human contact.
True.
So we would get on Discord and I would be the only one without a camera on. And it's not like it bothered me, but I always knew the question was like,
Yeah. And you got ahead of it like before well, okay. I'm sure that we had made comments just like, "Oh, Jesse's here without a camera again" or something, but nobody
yeah,
ever really asked, but like you got ahead of it and messaged a bunch of us like, hey, FYI, this is why you're not gonna see me. And for people listening, I don't know what Jessie looks like. I mean, you did actually send like an old photo when you sent that message, but I've long forgotten that. So I I just describe you characteristics either based on profile pictures that you've had in the past, which is like Jim from The Office and Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah.
Or I ascribe you images based on dreams I've had.
Dude, there was that one avatar I used in Discord, which was Jim from The Office, like moving his car seat back and disappearing, which is my personhood, actually, that like perfectly describes who I am as a human being.
Yeah, it's Jim wearing a fake mustache, reclining in his car. And that's the most go-to image for me, I think. That's just what I assume you look like at this point.
So there's that, but so there's a sect. There's different sects of people from that Discord that believe that I look like Jim. They thought that too. And then there's another half that thinks I look like Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah.
Because I had this Jim Gaffigan animated avatar that was like eating itself in a loop.
You know, which is what you're known to do.
Yeah. And that doesn't bother me. I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's almost like a play along at home. What do you think Jessie looks like?
Yeah. Yeah, that's always fun. And then people say they'll have dreams about me, but they don't have a clue what I look like. So I'm like a cloud or something.
A lot of us like regularly have dreams where you're there, but we either can't see you or we never look at you, or we look at you, but you're just like a void.
Yeah.
So it's like pretty powerful, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I never really had this before. Like, before the pandemic, nobody cared. All my friends were just like, we would play World of Warcraft. Those were my biggest friends groups, and nobody had real life pictures in there because we were just using like TeamSpeak, not Discord.
Right.
So there were no cameras. So this is like the first time I've ever encountered a new group of like a big new group of friends where I had to address this.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
So it's been like a learning experience. It was a little annoying at first because people kept asking me to turn my webcam on. That's when I like sent out those messages to like 10 people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to do that. And this is why.
Yeah. And at this point, like, it's not weird.
No.
I don't turn my webcam on anymore either, but that's usually just because I look like I just woke up.
And I'm like the perfect friend to have for that. I don't ever give a fuck.
Right.
Even if people do turn their cameras on, I don't look at their cameras because it elicits that response in my head. Like, it's like a connection, like a visual connection. So if even when I'm at work, if someone's got a Zoom camera on, it's in the background. I never look at it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that because, you know, they're looking right into your frame.
Yeah. Like, the whole problem is that my brain is an asshole.
Yeah.
And my brain is doing whatever it wants. So like, it just interprets some things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've learned to live with it. But I have a site at albinight.com, and there's a blog post called My Obligatory Manifesto on there. It's like the only thing that's on there right now on that page. And I go in more detail. So if you're interested in my weirdness, you can read that.
And until then, just go ahead and picture Jessie as whatever kind of amorphous blob you'd like. A lot of us also believe he might be a robot, which
that's true.
There's a lot of evidence for, honestly.
Some people think I'm Google.
Yeah, which could be.
Could be.
But we still love him, and that's what's important. So
I am pretty lovable.
I mean, sometimes, yeah. Anyway,
I'm gonna ruin that during the course of this show.
Oh yeah.
All my credits gonna go.
No, I
right down
think
there.
there's honestly a fair amount of people who will not like me however
That's
deep into this.
There's
I
just
have
people
very
that
weird
don't like
taste.
you. There's people that
Oh,
don't like me. There's people that don't like you, and it's just gonna
sure.
happen.
It'll happen.
And I'll attack them in the comments from a different
Thank
account.
you. I'll do that from a different
Hell,
account.
yeah, I'm gonna have a burner. Email is at hello@idiots.fm. Tell me what my burner account should be named. Kind of defeats the purpose, but
A little bit, yeah. It's not doesn't feel as much like you're standing up for me.
what do you
But
no, because if I'm it's more impactful if you do it from a burner.
hmm. Anyway, now that we've talked about ourselves a little bit, I guess,
Mhm.
let's describe each other, huh?
Oh, okay. All right. I wrote this down.
Me too.
I've
Would
got
you
it.
like to go first?
Sure. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. A spooky ass bitch with a heart of gold and a great sense of humor.
Oh, that's nice.
That's real nice.
That's real nice.
I remembered you liked being called a spooky ass bitch for some reason.
Do I?
Yes,
I
you
don't
said
dislike it.
somebody got called a spooky bitch, and you said I would love to be called a spooky bitch, and I can't
It might
remember
be
what it was.
there's a Twitter account called Doth, and I think he tweeted something like Edgar Allan Poe, you spooky bitch.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I think that might be what it was. But yeah, I think that's accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
So for you, I said mid 90s skater punk, anarchist hacker, and party drug enthusiast turned responsible 40 something with big supportive friend energy, but leftover hacker anarchist tendencies. Also, giant nerd.
Yeah. Damn, dude, that you nailed it.
Cool. Put it on the Tinder bio, even though you're happily married.
I'm a white hat hacker now.
Yeah.
I
You use.
actually yesterday I had to find a cheater.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I guess we should say what we do. Do we ever? I don't think we have a question about what we do.
No, but yours is way more interesting than mine.
I'm a cloud infrastructure engineer, which means I program nerd shit, and I do
Yeah.
it. I do it for a company that manages like learning management systems. Like you would go to take courses and stuff for like community colleges or
Wow, I fully thought you said horses.
horses. Did I say horses?
I
Maybe
think you said courses, but I heard horses.
we manage sites for horses to learn. It's a
It's like
niche.
the internet for horses.
Yeah, it's a niche space, but I feel like I have job security.
Yeah, definitely.
There's not a lot of programmers worrying a lot about how horses learn.
Yeah, you really cornered the market there.
I sure did. And oh wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah, we caught a cheater. There was someone like forging certificates. Like they would change their profile name and take a certificate course in the name of someone else. And guess what it was for?
Horses.
No. Daycare safety.
No. That's like
Yeah.
the worst.
It's the worst. I was trying to come up with something worse that you could
There
forge
isn't.
certificates for.
Unless it's like maybe doctor.
Maybe doctor. No,
Oh my god.
but for a doctor, it would be like continuing ed certificates, which are largely like, who cares? I think.
Yeah.
Doctor's gonna
Ooh.
bitch at me in the comments for that. But it's largely like just stuff you have to do, like bureaucracy. But I feel like daycare safety, you want to know that shit probably.
That's awful.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I'm glad. Wait, did you catch them?
Yeah, it was fun. It was like the most
Yeah.
fun I've ever had at this job because me and my coworker were going full Sherlock Holmes. We were real excited and like tracking down clues and stuff.
Oh fuck yeah.
It was super
as
fun.
hell. Yeah, my job's a lot less interesting. I work like I've been in healthcare my whole life for the most part, just doing odd office jobs. Currently, I work for the quality department of a medical network, which essentially just means that I reach out to patients and remind them to do their annual wellness screenings and then look for that data and upload it. So it's a lot of data entry, but sometimes I get to do Sherlocky shit too. I get to like find out where stuff lives. It's really
Stuff lives.
like finding healthcare records in different systems.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. I know it's not interesting.
no, I thought you meant like where apples live, or like objects where stuff lives.
No.
Okay, that's different.
Yes. So, it makes a living, but my real occupation is podcaster, apparently.
I don't know about it. I don't know if our revenue is going to be
No, there is no
super
revenue.
high. I think I'm in the negative, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
I think I'm taking a monthly negative hit.
Yep, same.
It's going to be big fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, we do like a big vibe of this show is that we do this shit anyway. So we're just gonna record it and hopefully find an audience of people who like it and want to watch along.
Yeah, this is like exactly what we do almost every night of the week.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
We talk about ourselves and each other.
We sure do. It's not gotten old yet somehow.
So
I've reminded Felicia what I do every day for a year.
Dude, I'm honestly so bad at remembering like what my actual friends do for a living, especially when you have complicated ass jobs. Like you can't blame me.
Yeah, I can never explain my job.
Yeah. It's not like a one-word thing. I can't say nurse or teacher.
No, just programmer usually is.
Yeah. I'm just like, oh, Jesse works IT.
Yeah, that too. That's what I tell like relatives or whatever.
Yeah. So we described each other. Did you write up a like description for yourself?
Yeah, but it's way too verbose. So I'm just gonna you want me to go first?
Sure.
So I said my personality is an amalgamation of every character in the Breakfast Club.
Which I haven't seen.
No, but everybody who's seen it's gonna be like, oh fuck yeah, because it's a brain, an athlete, a basket case, a princess, and a criminal.
Oh, you're a princess? Which part of you is the princess?
Well, here I have negative testosterone.
Oh.
Not physically, but like he said I'm a cis white straight male, but that's about as far as it goes. Because I'm not macho in any way, in any respect.
It's true.
I'm not that dude.
Jesse, while he does always mansplain things to me and, talks over me, never lets me say anything and like tells me that he hates women and
yeah, sure do.
Men rule the world. But he's a good guy,
Mostly.
Yeah.
When I'm not throwing my wife across the house. I try to get the biggest clump of hair that I can get so it doesn't rip out. Should I edit that? I'm gonna leave it in because I'm gonna say worse shit. I think probably
it's not true. Just know that it's not true.
No, it's right after the princess part. Like I hit my wife by accident one time, and I think I apologized for 6 months. I can't remember. It wasn't like in the face. It was like in the arm or something. She said ow, and I was like, it fucking wounded me.
Was there more in your self-evaluation?
No, the thing you might not know, I don't know if you know this, but I love sports.
I do know that.
Okay.
And now did you play sports?
Oh, yeah.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, I loved sports. I played Little League Baseball and whatever's right after that. I never played in high school because I never got to high school. I should probably mention that. It's like
we're both dropouts, respectively.
Yeah, my brain thing did not mesh well with like formal, regular style education, which is basically all I had access to at that point because I'm old. So the internet isn't what it is now. So I was kind of stuck in that system and I didn't do well.
That's big true.
Yeah. I got held back in first grade and then third grade. So I was always 2 years older than everybody else. And then I just dropped out in the 8th grade. So that's like as far as I got.
Yeah. That's a good point. Like people having, this is a huge tangent, but just like being able to do school completely online now because of pandemic times is so wild. Like if you had that option available to you when you were a kid, who knows? But
yeah, I basically
hey, look at you, you turned out just fine.
I did. I like taught myself everything on the internet. Well, I didn't. I'm an autodidact, so like other people.
Okay, Jesse.
Listen, that's not that. Okay, is that a big word?
That's a big word.
It's self-taught, self-learned. So,
I mean,
yeah,
I
take
knew
your
that
own education
course,
under your wing.
Just for the I knew that, but just for the people who at home listening.
I thought that was like a common word. That's not going to be the last time that happens. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
See, I only made it up to 8th grade, but can say things like autodidact.
Well, I taught myself it.
Idiot.
You fucking idiot.
Stupid idiot.
Dumb idiot rat fuck.
Oh man. I wrote like am I just rolling over you right now? Did you have more?
No, that's it.
Okay.
You like actually described everything that I put in here when you described me.
Yeah.
I think you got it everything.
I wrote like a very similar synopsis for myself. Recovering sheltered religious scene kid who's channeled all psychological baggage into niche obsessions and made them her entire personality, aka anything having to do with the ocean, Gothic era literature and aesthetic, and stories where grizzled men become reluctant father figures to orphan children.
It sounds a little pretentious. I thought.
How?
I don't know. I feel like that's the paragraph form of the word autodidact. I feel like if you write that, then I get away with autodidact.
I thought I was being humble.
Dude, I didn't know you were a scene kid.
I mean, I guess like people like to make fun of me and call me goth, but I think it was really like more scene kid, but like the Christian school version.
Didn't you call yourself goth?
Yeah, but like jokingly. I'm not actually a goth.
Dude, this is news to me right now. This whole time, I thought you considered yourself goth.
No, not really.
That's just Mike fucking with you?
Yeah.
Damn.
Assume most things are Mike fucking with me.
Dude, that fucked me up. You're a witch, right?
Yeah, but okay. I don't think they're synonymous.
No. They're not. I'm just making sure like the shit you're being called is accurate.
Thank you.
I thought you were goth this whole time.
No, like I've definitely referred to myself as a goth in like a joking manner because I do tend to wear like dark colors for the most part. But no, like I am by no means a goth. I like Gothic era stuff. Like I'm pretentious when it comes to like I like my Bram Stoker and my Edgar Allan Poe and Mary Shelley, but like Gothic in that sense, not Gothic in the like, I dance under a bridge.
For one, that's not goth. That's cyber goth. Do you think goths get together and dance under bridges?
No, but I've been sent. You don't know how many times I've been sent that video and be like, "It's you."
Those are two different types of people.
Yes, they are, and I hate everyone who's ever sent that to me. Just FYI, I know you're on my blacklist.
Goths are the one that listen to Typo Negative.
Yeah, I don't.
And they talk like vampires.
Nope, sorry.
We're on question 6.
Out of 20.
That's not good.
No, but it's a freeform episode.
That's true. I'm good to record as long as you want to.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. All right. Should we do 6 then?
Yeah. Number 6. what qualities do you look for in a friend, aka what endears you to people? What do people do that endears them to you?
Sense of humor,
Yeah, big
because
one.
99% of what I say is a joke or sarcasm, and I get dark.
Yes.
So, like when I said I throw my wife around the house by her hair. So, like, if you don't like joking like that, then we're not going to get along.
Yeah.
And the other one is progressive.
Ooh, that's good.
We're probably never going to get political on this thing,
No.
but like if you like voice political opinions that fly in the face of logic or empathy, I'm like noped out of you immediately.
Yeah, dude, empathy is a big one. Know that
Yeah.
we're both like very open, supportive people
Yeah.
and we'll never like judge you for being who you are unless you're just a horrible person.
No, and it's like I don't even like hate Republicans or anything like that, but if you like do that
Whoa, we got a
far
political word over here. Whoa.
do you hate autodidact more or Republican?
Definitely autodidact. I wanted
Yeah,
to slap you in the face when you said no, I'm just kidding.
for real?
No.
I honestly thought that word was well
I swear to
known.
God, I've never heard it, but I
All
could
right.
just be dumb.
I'm just a nerd. I don't know.
That's also true.
But yeah, sense of humor and progressive, and that's basically it. And
Yeah.
what do people do that endears them to you? Reach out every once in a while. I'm real easy.
Yeah. I think it's hard to narrow it down sometimes because it is weirdly vibe based a lot.
Yeah.
Like, same for me. I like people who are funny and open, but like, I think that there's some kind of undescribed or unquantifiable chemistry that just happens. Like, something that people can do that endears them to me is like roasting. Roasting is kind of a love language, but only if the vibes are there. If they're not,
Yeah.
and you're too familiar with me, but we're not pals, I'm gonna hate you.
How many times have you experienced me roasting you and then me coming back the next day and
Saying
apologizing?
sorry. Dude, so many people do, and I think that's partly because like I'm really dramatic about it, and like I don't get mad easily, but I'll get like oh, the audacity.
Yeah, you go over the top. I think you
Oh
would be a
yeah.
good actress.
Oh, thank you.
It took me a little while to get used to, is that you're playful and you will play
Yes.
when there's roasting happening.
Yeah.
But you get to this point where it feels like you mean it, but you never do.
The thing is, like, in the moment, so I think that it's like a defense mechanism, like me trying to make people feel bad for saying mean things to me. So, like I'm really good at like honing in on that and making people feel bad.
Yeah. Like
And it's not
it's Italian. You're Italian.
maybe.
By the way,
Yes, I
Felicia's
am.
Italian.
I'm very Italian.
And that's like Italian mom's shit right there.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and it's not that I'm never actually angry at you. In the moment, I can absolutely get heated. Like we've definitely had heated arguments, but not like actual anger. There's a
Yeah.
difference for me. I just get fiery about things sometimes. So like that's what's happening.
Yeah. And I'm the type of person that analyzes and overanalyzes every little thing.
Yeah.
So it'll be like 3 hours later that night, I'll be like rethinking it, and I'll be like, she sounded different. I pissed her off. But that's never the case, it seems like.
If you like ever actually did piss me off, I just wouldn't talk to you, I think.
Oh, that's good. I'll just
Yeah.
use that as a metric. I could take that.
Yeah. Like I don't blow up, but I'll get like real cold and quiet.
Yeah.
But I don't think you've ever said anything that pissed me off to that extent. Like for the most part, like all of my friends know my thresholds and like
Yeah.
just are only doing it in a very like loving, joking way. So like I know that if you're roasting me, like it's out of affection. When people who just meet me try to do that, I don't know that it's out of affection. And I'm like, interesting, dead to me.
That's true. And I almost never go personal. I like roast
No.
opinions a lot.
Yeah, just one of Jesse's favorite things to do is that if like say we watch something together and I express any kind of criticism about it, the next day if we're talking in a group setting, Jesse will loudly announce, "Hey, Felicia hated such and such." And then I just have to defend myself.
Oh yeah,
He loves
especially
to like push me out into the middle of the road and I just have to dodge traffic.
yeah, because it's usually something like that everybody likes. I wish I could think
Yeah.
of examples, but definitely it happens in Fortnite a lot.
Yes.
And I'll definitely do that on purpose, and it's fun.
And the problem is that like everybody who is in that group of friends is so funny and so good at roasting.
Oh
So
man,
it's just kind of like tossing me to the lions.
it took me so long to get acclimated to that group of
Oh
people.
fuck yeah.
I felt like inadequate for a really long, like comedically inadequate for so
Oh
long, which is
yeah.
the first time I've always been the funniest person in my groups. And then that was like stepping into a lion's den. It's weird.
Yeah, I definitely think that just being around funny people for as long as I have has made me funnier. I'm still nowhere near the level that a lot of my current friends are,
I'm
but
not
like
either.
I think that I can keep up better now.
Yeah.
But still like I'm probably like going from like you said, kind of being the funny one in the group to being in this group of funny people where you're like the least funny. It's
Yeah,
like
dude. It's
so
really
jarring.
intimidating.
Yeah.
But what I like, I also came to realize that they don't really care if you're funny all the time.
Yeah. It's
And
not
they're
a
more forgiving
competition.
than you would think.
Right. And
But
sometimes you can say pee pee poo poo and everyone thinks it's fucking hilarious because they're high off their
yeah. But for someone like Mike Falzone, who does those crowd work shows
Mhm.
all the time, and he's so fast
Yeah.
that
That's what I don't have. Like I don't have the quick turnaround.
I'm good at me either. I'm good at being funny in text because that's what I've
Mhm.
always done, and I've always had time to think before I do the funny thing.
Yes,
But
exactly.
yeah, that's really intimidating.
So that means that when Jesse leaves me out to dry, I'm so bad at trying to defend myself because I can't come up with like quick and funny responses. So I'm just like struggling.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure
love
it
doing that.
is.
I'm really glad you hate some things that people like. What was I'm trying to think of an example and I can't.
Honestly, I can't even think of specific examples either. It's just like anytime I like we watch something and I'll be like, yeah, it was fine. It's not, my favorite thing, but I enjoyed it. The next day, Jesse will be like, you'll never guess what Felicia fucking hated.
God damn, it's on the tip of my tongue. It was like some classic movie and I can't think of it. Oh, whatever.
Yeah,
We'll do this forever.
Another thing about both of us is that neither of us can seem to remember anything that we've watched together. So
No. Yeah.
that tells you something.
Well, it's just like the volume. We watch so much shit.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you just lose it in the volume. Number 7.
Number 7. This is like an interesting question because I feel like we don't know a lot about each other's musical tastes. So this
No.
was like, who are your favorite musical artists?
Trent Reznor is my favorite artist of all time.
Of course you're gonna.
From 9 Inch Nails. Of course, what?
Of course you're gonna go straight for 9 Inch Nails.
I love Trent Reznor. That guy like might have literally saved my life when I was a kid. I was like in such a bad place when I found that music.
Oh my, well now
And
you're gonna make me feel bad.
no, you don't have to feel bad. It's 100% like emo.
Yeah.
It's emo metal, basically industrial stuff. But when you're like a kid going through it, it's an outlet for anger that you didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
So I like really connected to Nine Inch Nails in particular and like idolized Trent Reznor. I think I don't get starstruck by anybody. I feel like I would get starstruck by Trent Reznor.
Yeah, that's a real big name.
Yeah. And then right behind him is Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, okay.
He's a hip hop artist. We've never
Yeah.
it occurs to me we've never talked about music that much.
I think like the only time we ever really have is Spotify had come up with some way of like comparing your music library to friends and just kind of giving you a percentage of how much they matched. And ours, I don't remember what the percentage was, but it was not high.
No, I feel like it was like 50%. And I had
Probably, yeah.
the funny thing about those blend lists on Spotify is I gave those to a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 80% for a bunch of people, but every time you would open that list, they would have like folk rock or something like that, or like pop or alternative, and everything on my list is just hip hop, which doesn't represent everything I listen to.
Yeah.
But it represents what I listen to the most.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like you have more well-rounded music taste in general. You listen to more genres than I do generally.
Yeah, probably. That's probably true. But you said we've talked about it briefly, and I think I remember you saying that you basically were sheltered, so you didn't have a lot of exposure to music. And during that period is where your taste grows the most, I think.
Yeah, like growing up, I grew up in a very conservative Christian household, so I grew up not really knowing there was anything beyond K-Love out there.
We had
So,
K-Love too. I like Jars of Clay.
I remember that name. The problem is they all blend together, so I can name you artists from that time period, but I cannot tell you any of the songs they wrote.
Here's something you don't know about me. The first concert I ever went to in my life was a Christian rap concert.
Christian rap?
Yeah, it was a group called DC Talk.
Oh, I used to listen to DC Talk, yeah.
Yeah, it was the first concert I ever went to, and I think it was on their first album.
Wow.
My brother dragged me to it. I'm not religious, by the way.
Neither am I anymore. But yeah, like that definitely held me back in terms of pursuing a music interest until I was like 13 years old.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna at that point I was essentially just like picking up any kind of song that I had heard on television or in a movie and like kind of vibed with. So I had all these one-offs on my playlist.
Right.
And then, it just kind of spiraled from there. So I still don't have much like my movie experience, I still don't have a huge background in the classics. But at this point, I've kind of settled comfortably into like indie and alt rock. Not Indian, indie and alt rock.
I gotcha.
So
I did the math.
Just to clarify. So like two of my favorite bands are I'd be so surprised if anybody else listens to these bands, but the Technicolors are my favorite band. They're very alt rocky. They're extremely good performers. I've seen them live several times, and they're very talented boys. And Hands Like Houses, which I've never actually seen them live, but they're a little bit more in just the general rock category. They're a little bit harder. But I love the way that the lead singer writes. Like his lyrics are so fucking good.
Technicolors and Hands Like Houses?
Yeah.
I'll check those out.
Fuck yeah.
I've never heard of either of those bands.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have. And honestly, that's the way I like it, because that means I can go to their concerts for like $15 and it's in a small venue where I can see the stage wherever I am.
I think you're like a closet hipster.
Yeah, I've been accused of that before. But like I don't, just based on my taste, I think that I generally like things that are a little bit harder than like when I think of hipster, I think of like folk rock, and I'm
Right.
not a huge folk rock person.
Number 8.
Number 8, who are your favorite creators? We did this because it was well, okay, never mind. No. Who are your favorite creators?
Who are your favorite creators? Steve Zaragoza.
Pandering, but okay. No, just
Not pandering. He's
kidding.
like, I watch so much SourceFed Nerd and so much Table Talk.
Yeah,
It's insane.
he's a real funny boy.
Yeah, like I think he might be the funniest person to me. Just someone that makes me laugh cry laugh consistently.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's at the top of that mountain. And then I have Mike Falzone and Zoya Falzone, kind of in the same mix.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a creator called James versus Cinema, who does watch alongs. That's what gave me the idea for us to do this show, actually, is James versus Cinema.
If you're listening to this, don't come after us, please.
No, please don't. No, he would never. He's like so wholesome, and I think that's why I like him a lot. He's
Yeah.
like he's a aspiring director. I think he went to film school, and that's where I think that's what hooked me immediately, because he's got like a YouTube channel, and it was director reacts to something, and I go down reaction video wormholes like at least twice a week. That's like my favorite shit. And I know it makes me basic, but I fucking love reaction videos. But it's the same thing that kind of makes me like watching shit with you. I just like watching shit with people.
Yeah. It's a like comforting experience.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
So James versus Cinema does he does these YouTube videos that are heavily edited, but the things that I watch the most from him are Patreon videos, where he does a full watch along, where he just played the audio and he has a camera on, which I can look at in that format because he's not talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
The movies that he picks, at least 2 of them a week are hits for me. So
Ooh.
I've watched like a way more movies than I would have otherwise, because he's always picking shit that I want to watch. And then Anthony Fantano is my other favorite creator. He's a music critic, and that's where I get a lot of my recommendations for new stuff to listen to.
I need something like that because I haven't listened to anything new in quite a while.
Man, I would love to I don't know if you would like hip hop, but I always feel like people are just waiting to love hip hop, but they don't know why.
I think I'm just like there's really no form of music that I like personally cannot stand. I'm not a big fan of country.
Yeah,
But
me
like,
neither.
If I don't like it, it's essentially just background noise or like elevator music to me. I'm never like turn it off. So I think like like movies, I'm pretty much open to anything. I can't guarantee you I'm gonna love anything, but there's gonna be wild cards in there.
Maybe someday I'll talk you into like putting hip hop reaction videos on our YouTube,
Okay.
because I swear, I remember our friend Heather asked me one time, and she was like, "Jesse, teach me about hip hop," but it was like she was joking. It was offhanded.
Mm-hmm.
But I spent the next hour writing a thing about it. And the thing that I wrote, I was reading, and I kind of want to rewrite it and make it longer. But as I was writing it, I was like, this is why I love hip hop.
Aw. Heather jokingly made you write something really meaningful.
Yeah, it's like the most reacted to thing on that Discord server, I think.
Huh.
Everybody liked it.
That's sick.
But it's because I don't know, same reason you don't like country. There's a lot of surface level country, and pop music and rap music
Yeah.
that is just churned out to make money.
Yeah.
But if you go a little deeper below the surface and you like get into it, you can really start seeing some really cool shit. Like hip hop is so great, and it's like it comes from people who have had everything ripped away from them, and they're still like, fuck you, I'm gonna make art.
See, I do like that aspect of it a lot. I
Yeah.
think it's probably got more potential to have substantial, like meaningful content than a lot of other genres. Like, I think my problem with a lot of musical genres, like pop specifically, is just if I can feel that it's just trying to be earwormy, I kind of check out immediately. So I need some kind of depth there. And I think that hip hop
Yeah.
does have a real potential to get that
Dude.
through for me.
Dude, if you let me do that, I want to do that sometime.
Oh, yeah, I'll let you do that.
Because it's so crazy what they've done. It's nuts. Because if you just think about like how many people we ripped away from a continent and brought them here, and we wouldn't even teach them how to write the language, but we forced the verbal part so they could follow commands.
Oof.
They started from that, learned how to write gradually, learned how to call their owners bitches in a cryptic way. And then as they grew through the years, they were still being oppressed. And then like there was a blackout in New York and a bunch of people stole turntables, and that's where hip hop came from.
Oh, shit.
And then the progression of that is like perfecting a language that isn't theirs, still finding cryptic ways to call white people bitches in new ways, and doing it with like double and triple and quadruple entendres. And the whole time, those same white people that are being called bitches can't figure out what they're saying, or that they've perfected their language and like leveled it up.
Yeah.
So you still have that, a whole bunch of that, where like people are like rap music is crap, but it's because they don't know the language. Like,
yeah,
they've taken the language and evolved it, and the people that are calling it shit haven't evolved with it. They don't know how to decrypt what they're saying. And to me, that's fucking awesome. That's like my favorite thing.
That whole reasoning, like, to me, that makes perfect sense why someone like you would love hip hop.
Yeah, I love it a whole lot.
Yeah.
But even I don't like the surface level shit that a lot of people like.
That's
mumble
true
rap
of
and stuff like
anything.
that.
Yeah, like you gotta dig a little to find gems in most things.
Yeah, but even like mumble rap's got its purpose, because there's that's like punk rock from the 60s or
Yeah.
70s. It's bored kids with they didn't know their instruments, but they wanted to express anger.
Mm-hmm.
That's all mumble rap is.
#relatable.
Relatable. Oh, big tangent there.
Big tangent, but that's okay. You know what? We're passionate people.
We're very passionate.
So my favorite creators. So
fuck. I'm sorry. I didn't realize we never got to yours. Jesus.
Okay. So I gotta knock out Mike first. We've talked about him. Like, fuck, I hate being nice to my friends, but you got you got Mike Falzone and his broad array of projects. So you've got your welcome to our podcast and your dynamic banter, not to mention all the other like video forms he does. So always been a fan of him. He's a good boy. Fuck that guy. Next favorite creators are the McElroy brothers. I love fucking everything they do. They're just such good boys. They're so funny. I think like specifically Griffin McElroy is one of the only people on earth who like makes me consistently laugh so fucking hard. He like everything he's like, much like you, everything he says just catches me so off guard, and he has this way of wording things where everything he says is so funny and just he's also like a creative genius. Their D&D podcast, The Adventure Zone, is like so well written. So, you know, I love every like McElroy Brothers property essentially. Then we have Drawfee, which they okay. They are 4 artists that either take prompts from audience or like create their own prompts and do like a theme every episode, and then they'll draw something.
Right.
There's all different kinds of formats, but it's like it's always funny. They're all real good people. It's very wholesome. And just like it's such a good creative idea just to like, hey, we're gonna just watch people draw. They do stream on Twitch and use face cams there, but their YouTube channel doesn't have face cams. You're just looking at like real-time drawing, which is cool. And then you get to like see the renders. They fade them in after they're done. And some of them are like really silly, and some of them are genuinely like amazing works of art. So they're real fun.
I've never heard of that. Sounds fucking rad.
We're gonna watch some Drawfee together. Like that's kind of funny that we watch movies and TV shows together all the time, but we never watch like YouTube stuff.
Yeah, that is weird. I do go down rabbit holes constantly.
Right. And I have like so many favorite things on YouTube that I'd love to show you at some point.
Cool.
Lastly, on this particular list, we have Brian David Gilbert, who I love him to death. Brian worked for Polygon, the like video game news and reviews channel, and at a certain point, I think they just realized what a gem they had in Brian and kind of let him do his own thing. So he would do these really long form videos where he would take on some kind of insane challenge. They were called Unraveled. And he would take on some kind of insane like video game breakdown challenge, like ranking the Castlevania monsters by sexiness, ranking what like reassembling the Sonic the Hedgehog story to like match the original Sonic the Hedgehog Bible, and like
what the
I don't know, he's
like the game Bible, like the design document.
Yeah, like he's such a creative genius. But they were all so ridiculous and so silly. But now, you know, he did leave Polygon. Now he's just kind of doing whatever the fuck he wants, and it's a lot of really niche like musical stuff or horror stuff, or sketches. And I think he's kind of just Patreon only at this point for the most part, and just gets to do whatever he wants to do, and he's still so beloved. Oh, he rewrote the Poke Rap to include all like 600 Pokemon or something. Yeah, he's fucking insane. I love him to death. Absolutely check out Brian.
That sounds like some of my favorite type of shit. Where
I think you'd love him.
People effort on dumb shit.
Yes.
That's my favorite thing.
Dumb shit that doesn't matter. Like another video he did is he redecorated his entire house so it would match a house he built in The Sims that was designed to maximize his character's happiness.
Come on.
So it essentially just was him filling his house with stupid paintings.
That's amazing.
Dude, yeah. So good. I could talk about Brian David Gilbert forever.
I might check him out right after this. I'm gonna edit this, and I'm making notes when I edit shit to check out.
We're gonna watch some stuff together for sure.
Cool.
I think we can roll right into top 3 podcasts because it probably relates.
Yeah, it probably does.
I'll knock mine out. My Brother and My Brother and Me, which is the McElroy Brothers. Mike's body of work, so Dynamic Banter and Welcome to Our Podcast. The only other like wild card I have on there is a podcast called The Cryptid Factor. And it is, you know who Reese Darby is?
Oh yeah, I love Reese Darby.
Yeah. So it's his podcast. He co-hosts it with Dan Schreiber and another dude they call Buttons. And it's them talking about cryptids.
I love an adult man with a dumb name.
Me too. His real name is Leon, but they call him Buttons.
There's a quick tangent. Then
Yes.
back to you. There's a character in Jackass Forever called Poopies, and that's a chef's kiss from me. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
But it doesn't seem to be like related to him shitting in any way. They just call him
Like
Poopies.
really weirdly cute.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. We watched it. We watched that one in VR, and everybody like laughed every fucking time they said Poopies. It made me kind of want like a dumb adult name for myself.
That's delightful.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I feel
I'm sorry I interrupted you.
That's fine. I feel the same way about buttons. But yeah, it's like just this wholesome, funny podcast where three like comedian adult friends talk about like monsters and aliens, and it's so pure and it's always such a good time. There's a lot of Restarby doing like dumb improv. It just like makes my heart happy.
You said that's called the Cryptid Factor?
Yeah.
I might check that out because I wasn't
It's-
into any of that. I like my intro to that stuff has been Fright Day.
Yeah, and it's not quite as like they all love cryptids, but it's more like they talk about cryptids in the news and like new strange inventions and like
But
it's more rooted in reality.
You can tell that it's fun and like
Yes.
there's a tongue in the back of their cheek.
Yeah, it's really lighthearted.
Yeah.
And it's not super consistent because they're all very busy people. So it's not like a huge body of work, but there's quite a few episodes and it's a really good time.
I might yeah, that's gonna get a subscription, I bet. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Mine are Dynamic Banter and Welcome to Our Podcast. They're tied for number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, this is out of left field, that's called Script Notes. And that is a screenwriting podcast, but it's great for like writers in general. There's like a lot of deep dives into the mechanics of storytelling in general.
That's cool.
And I've harbored a want to be a writer dream in me since I was a kid. I've never like really gotten there, but I love storytelling and I love writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I study it constantly. I just never do it all the way. So number 2, was Script Notes. I love that podcast. And that's John August and who wrote the movie Go, which is one of my favorite movies that we haven't seen.
No, I don't know that one.
It's not so much a classic. You might call it a cult classic, but it's still like a small cult.
Okay.
But it's about the rave scene in the 90s.
Oh.
I connect to it on that level.
Yes.
But it was fun. And then Craig Mazin wrote Chernobyl.
Oh yeah, he's writing the HBO adaptation of The Last of Us.
Yeah, which I knew would connect with you.
Yeah, he's fucking great. And Chernobyl was great too.
Yeah, Chernobyl was awesome. And I have a feeling that The Last of Us is going to also be awesome. Because
if it fails, like it had every opportunity to be amazing.
Like Craig Mazin comes off to me as someone who knows how to boss people around. I feel like as a showrunner, on Chernobyl at least, he knocked it way out of the park. So I'm hoping that he does that on Last of Us too.
And like, not to talk, because I could talk forever about Last of Us, but they also have Neil Druckmann at the helm of that. So like, I cannot imagine it will flop.
I don't think so. I've never played that game. My introduction to that is going to be that show that we should watch together probably.
Oh, I gotta tell you everything. Not right now, because that'll be the rest of the podcast.
We're only on number 9. Jeez, we gotta start going through these.
But okay, that was your number. Oh wait, no, you're not done.
Number 3 is the Bill Simmons podcast, and that's how I keep up with basketball and football, which are my 2 favorite sports.
Who cares? Anyway, number 2.
Who gives a single fuck? I don't talk about. Not one of my friends likes sports, I feel like, except for maybe like Brett Register, who I would call him an outside friend.
Yeah.
Like an outside ring of friend. We're good acquaintances.
Yes.
So I don't really have anyone to talk to about sports with, which is fine.
Sure you can talk to Brett about sports. He'd love.
I'm a loner. Yeah, I do. We talk about sports every now and
again. But I think that kind of leads into like question 10, which is what are your hobbies and like side projects?
For me, it's music. I've been a musician like I think my entire life. There's like recordings of me singing when I was 5
Oh,
with my parents and stuff, which have hopefully been destroyed. And I've been making like digital music for a couple of decades, but it's mostly like meditative throwaway tracks, the style that you've heard,
right.
just like you would call it lo-fi now, probably.
Yeah.
Just like little slow beats that are nice, and when I'm making them, it's very meditative. So that's what I get lost in sometimes when I'm not writing. But I've been working on an album in a genre that I haven't done before, and I've been working on that for like 2 years, and it's the first project I've really put my whole heart into. So I think when I release that, that's going to be like the first time I've ever released music that I've cared about a lot.
Love it. Do you have a projected time frame on that?
I No, not really. It won't be 5 years, but I'm doing everything myself,
Mm-hmm.
which means it's slow, and I'm a perfectionist, which means it's slow. But I've made like a shitload of progress in my music making ability, just in music production in general. And I'm starting to make stuff that sounds like I want it to sound, which is important.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe the next year or two, hopefully.
Nice.
And I'm a programmer, so I do that for work, but I also do it for fun. And I have like a lot of little side projects. Like I wrote the bot on the Discord that you can ask questions to. That's my programming code.
This is a very handy boy. He really does use his powers for good.
I am a handy boy. At work, it's a lot of troubleshooting and stuff, and then outside of work, it's just like little toys, little worthless programmy toys. I did make our website.
Yeah. It looks great, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. I think those are my two, other than writing.
Which is a big one.
Yeah, I like to write. Oh, I'm working on a comic.
Yes, I've been waiting.
I've been working on a comic with an artist friend of mine for a while, but we're both busy. He's a tattoo artist, and my life is chaos. And I have like every iron in the fire you can think of because I keep busy. I'm always doing something, but I've been dedicating more time to that comic because we hit a point in it where we're really seeing something I think special form in the story. And that always helps when you hit like that point where you can see the story in front of you and it's put together. Like you can see the whole arc. Because that's when I'm writing, that's what I always have trouble with is like seeing the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'll usually have like little moments in my head that I want to write, but like the character progression and stuff I don't fully see. But for this comic, I think it's going to be good, and hopefully that one's out in the next year.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Like, I've seen some of the art already. It's fucking sick.
Thank you.
The story itself has evolved so much since it started. There's like, their characters are so fleshed out, and it's going to be great. And I'm very much looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and it's even evolved past what you know.
Yeah.
And we're doing it in a way that I don't think has been done that much before. We're gonna use my programming skills too.
Heck yeah.
For the storytelling there. So I don't know. That's gonna be sick. But those are my hobbies and side projects. What do you have?
Yeah, like in the same vein, I guess, like being creative and like making things is kind of where my hobbies lie. So I do some occasional freelance writing, mostly for Friday. I do digital portraits, which not very often, but like it is really fun. And
They're
if I
good.
find, thank you. Like it's a matter of, I think, devoting the time to it and also like finding something that I want to draw enough to devote that much time to.
Right.
So I haven't in a while, but I do enjoy that. Uh, I I like video games. I haven't been playing as often as I used to, but anytime like a new horror game comes out, like most recently it was Resident Evil Village, which is the perfect game. Um, so I have I have my hand in that occasionally. And other than that, I read tarot occasionally as well.
Yeah, you did readings for me,
Yeah,
and it's awesome. Do you still do
thanks.
those for
I
on this?
do. I don't advertise it much because I hate being like, by the way, I'm still here, but I do. I do still do readings
What's your Instagram again?
at Felicia 3.
She does tarot readings.
I do.
They're pretty good, and that's I'm typically like skeptic, but I like the idea of finding order in chaos, so it like falls in
Hmm.
that realm for me.
Yes, I have
Where
not to advertise my other podcast on here, but
no, go for it. Yeah,
I do have another podcast called Spell You Later with my friend Benny, and we recently did an episode about tarot, and it just kind of like details my thoughts about it, and so I don't launch into that right here and now.
right.
Um,
That was a good
but yeah,
episode, though.
thank you. And yeah, I think it's a lot more accessible than people think, and I think a lot more people are surprised by how much they can get out of it and like relate to it. So
Yeah,
it's always interesting.
yep. Even if you don't believe in like the underlying mechanics, I still think it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 11.
Yeah. So we are gonna describe each other's tastes in movies and
Oh, right.
television in a little bit. And I feel like I already know what's coming. So why don't you go ahead?
We got okay, so weird and unpredictable.
True.
And then most of the time I honestly have no idea what you're gonna like or not like. Because there's been times where I thought you were gonna hate something and you didn't
Hmm.
care.
Yeah.
Or you liked it outright. Like Super
Uh-huh.
Bad was the good example of that one. I thought you were gonna hate that shit.
I like there are certain things that endear me to movies, but for the most part, I am kind of a wild card. Like I surprise myself sometimes.
Yeah. And that's a fun part about this too, is like I never know.
Yeah.
Like I
Neither do
thought
I.
we're gonna talk about something further down in this list. I'll just keep it for there. But
Yeah. So what I honestly thought you were gonna say is like, oh, if there's a hot man with long hair.
oh, that's remember we had a subsection of this question. What would a movie or TV show have in it that you would wait?
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote this terribly. What would a movie or TV show have in it that would
make
make you think I would automatically enjoy it?
Yes.
And I put hot guy with long hair and also maybe some kind of irredeemable character flaw.
Irredeemable character flaw.
Yeah, like if he's hot enough, I think you'll let a movie man get away with like killing a kid. If he's hot enough. If he's wet, if that's a wet boy, then I think you'll let a child death go.
What have we ever watched together that I've been like, yeah, he did murder that child, but he's hot.
Dude, I feel like there are instances of it in Hell on Wheels.
No, he's a good boy, and I'll hear nothing more.
He's a murderer. He has a breakdown about it. About
yeah, he's
being
a
a murderer.
but like of bad men.
Nah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Also, he was a Southern rebel. So he was a Confederate for sure.
I mean, there were brothers on both sides of the war.
Owned slaves. That man owned slaves.
You know what?
And you're like, oh god damn, you're wet. Look how fucking you're wet as shit. Ugh.
Okay, you know what?
He definitely killed some like northerner kids. All right, what about me?
You're just gonna cut it off before I go off.
Well, it's because I'm right. So it's like pointless what you're gonna say.
Wow. Listen, I will say that I'm more willing to forgive a character if they're very hot, but I don't think I'm alone in that.
I think I've nailed my not synopsis, my description or whatever.
No, you didn't. I will add that I have a soft spot for like My friend Alex described it as grizzled men who wish they could afford to be soft. And it's like so
Yeah.
accurate.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
So yeah, that's a soft spot for me. Anyway, for Jesse,
Describe my
I
taste in movies and television. And go.
I said the writing and the science must be on par, but you're more forgiving of bad science when it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Uh you enjoy coming of age comedies about like renegade kids, and
Uh-huh.
also sci-fi and things having to do with the concept of time space.
Yes. Space time.
Basically anything that breaks my brain. So
Yeah.
I said that like the thing that a movie or TV show would have that would make me think that you would automatically enjoy it would be something about multiverse theory or mind melty space-time sci-fi. Anything that plays with science that may be possible in our lifetime but hasn't been yet discovered, i.e., immortality, or Liv Tyler in the 90s.
Yeah. That's pretty accurate. Or a good soundtrack.
That too. Or like Michael Bay.
Dude, I don't really like Michael Bay.
Not Michael Bay. Who's the other one with the loud
Christopher
movies?
Nolan.
Yes, Christopher Nolan.
Too loud. That's his only flaw as a director. Is that he doesn't let the sound people do what they want. He's like,
yeah, he's a loud man.
he's like,
It's real
"Make that
terrible watching
crunchy
his
no matter
movies in
what."
VR. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awful. We watched Interstellar in VR and couldn't get the subtitles to work.
It was like my head was vibrating the whole time.
Head was vibrating, and it's so loud that they're like talking during the loud parts in that movie because they're in
Yeah.
like space shuttles
Well,
and
yeah,
shit.
anytime they're in a space shuttle, it was like illegible.
Yeah, you couldn't hear shit.
No.
You really need subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you pretty much nailed me though, and I got you perfectly too. Let's go to number 12. I was completely right about child murdering wet men.
But I also like how the rest of your description was just like, I don't know what you're gonna like.
Yeah, I have no fucking clue most of the time.
Yeah.
Weird. If it's weird, there's a good chance you might like it.
That's kind of true. Like if it's strange or niche in some way that I haven't really seen before but does it well, like that'll endear me to a movie.
It has to be interestingly weird. What's that movie we watched that we turned off? Do you remember what that was called?
I don't remember what it was called, but it was a foreign folk horror movie.
Yeah, foreign folk horror had like a 93% of Rotten Tomatoes, which I should not have trusted.
Mm-mm.
And god damn, it was awful.
Yeah. So, we have our limits.
Something about
So this is really leads well into question 12, which is what makes you immediately nope out of a movie or show.
Uh-huh.
So like what about that movie made you nope out?
Okay, so I had bad writing or bad directing here. And then I said I'd say bad acting, but I think a lot of the time bad acting is bad directing.
Yeah, I agree. Or bad writing.
If I see that, I'll nope out. Or if I see bad cinematography, like if I see like film school cinematography, I'm almost immediately out. But what made me nope out of that was that it was just boring.
Yeah.
Like nothing was happening, and I'd seen that character before because she was playing Nell from not the Notebook. That's a way different movie. She was playing Nell from The Piano.
I don't know that one.
Which is like it's a mute girl who disclaimer, I'm probably wrong. But I think it's a mute girl from like who was living by herself in a cabin in the woods or something, just not really exposed. So she was feral.
Yeah.
So the woman in this thing that we turned off.
It was called like You Won't Be Alone or something.
Yeah, something like that. But she was feral in the same way, but she was talking like an infant for no reason.
Yeah.
And her mom was there for the entire time.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't quite parse, is that like her mother did raise her, albeit like in a cave.
But it was like
still should have had more interaction than she was acting like she did.
Yeah, she was like saving her from this witch, but she never visited. It was really weird. I don't know. Oh, it sucked though. I hated it.
Yes. Um so but yeah, besides like movies that are just terribly paced and boring and weird,
Right.
my like immediately nope out factor, which I don't really have a lot, but I get this like gross feeling when I can tell that a movie is just trying to shock me. Like it's just trying to gross me out. It's just trying to make me feel like it's super weird and shocking,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
without having the plot to back it up. Like it's relying on the what the fuck factor and not on its own story.
We're really foreshadowing a movie I think we're
Yes,
gonna
we
talk
are.
about.
But it like that's why, because this has always been a problem for me when
Yeah.
I can when something happens just for the sake of happening and not like because it advances the plot in any way.
Right.
I'm immediately like, "Oh, you're trying to use a device on me and it's not working. It's having the opposite effect."
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if it's funny enough, I'll just let that stuff slide. If
Yeah,
it's
I
like
mean,
entertaining, I don't care.
it's not to say that it can't be done well, but I think it has to
Right.
be backed up with the stronger plot.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Number 13.
Who's your favorite director? Go
For,
for it.
for me, it's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Uh, because Inception and Interstellar are two of my favorite movies of all time.
Loudest man.
Pretty loud, but they're really thinky.
Yeah.
He always makes these movies that you need to watch multiple times. And I think knowing that is comforting to me because I have terrible ADHD. So it's like built in that I need to watch this several times to get it.
That's true.
And yeah, I love his movies. I don't think there's a miss in his entire catalog for me.
Yeah, he's real good at what he does, and his
Yeah.
films are like instant hits and instant classics for the most part.
Yeah. I think people didn't like Tenet, but
Hmm.
I love Tenet. And I
Yeah, I
watched it
enjoyed
like
that.
6 or 7 times in the first 2 weeks it came out.
His films are very heady, so
Yeah.
I think that for people who aren't willing to rewatch them to pick up what they missed, they're not as rewarding, and
Yeah.
like they can make you feel a little stupid. So I get it, but like he is a very smart director.
Yeah, if you're like someone that's gonna watch a movie and you by the end of the movie you want everything tied up on a bow, no matter
Hmm.
what, you're gonna hate his stuff. Except for maybe like Dunkirk, which is a masterpiece too.
Yeah,
Dunkirk
I do.
has like a linear storytelling. What were you
Yeah,
gonna say?
I do tend to be drawn to like the murder mystery wrap up type films,
Yeah.
like the Poirot explaining exactly how the crime was committed.
Right. Yeah.
But that's more like, I'm willing to watch more intellectual films if I can follow it. I don't want to just be like, I'm real stupid, you see. But
Well,
I think it's more like I don't always have the time and energy to just sit something and watch it with my whole ass. So I think like Nolan movies are ones you really have to do that.
right. Yeah, and normally I'm like that too. Like I like my stories wrapped up in a bow, and if it's
Hmm.
done poorly, I give it negative marks.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the way that what I don't know what his magic is, but the way he and his brother write scripts is so good. And I never feel unsatisfied at the end, even if I think I have to rewatch it. So I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. Maybe he's like built up some credit in my brain, and I'm just ready to let him make me watch shit multiple times.
Well, I think also what you said about like going into the film with the knowledge that you're likely going to need to watch it again is almost like comforting in a way, because
Yeah,
you don't have to pick up everything the first time around. You don't have to get it. You
yeah,
can go back and try to follow it from the beginning with all the knowledge.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
I think is why I find comfort in those movies.
right.
What's your favorite director?
I have two. So Taika Waititi is one of my favorite
Oh
directors of all
shit,
time.
that's a
I
good
know.
one.
He's just like everything that he writes is so like the characters are so charming. The story is so weirdly wholesome and
Yeah.
like beautiful,
Except for
and
Jojo Rabbit.
it is well, it's wholesome in a way because it's like the kid's perspective. But like yeah, everything is very meaningful and just absolutely full of heart. Also, everything is injected with his humor, and he's just such a funny person that like there even Jojo Rabbit, it's a heavier film,
Yeah.
but there's still so many feel good moments in it. And I think a lot of his films are kind of like that, where even if they're dealing with heavier subject matter, they're still like uplifting in a way. Um,
Yeah.
so he's just like he's a good one because pretty much anything that he makes is going to be a hit for me, and likely is going to skyrocket up towards my favorite films.
I
The
actually forget.
other, huh?
I might have named him if it wasn't for Christopher Nolan. I forgot.
Yeah.
I
Well, you
forgot.
didn't know you could do multiple, huh?
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I'll put him on my list. There's always like a Monty Python quality to even his
Yeah,
drama.
yeah,
It's
it's
just really
true.
good.
He also like he works with a lot of the same people in a lot of his projects, and that whole group is so good.
Yeah.
Um, so my other favorite, it's like a writer director team, Nick D'Amici and Jim Mickle. They do so they wrote the Stakeland movies,
Oh,
and
okay.
Nick D'Amici stars in it. He plays Mister, the main character. But they've actually co-written several of movies that I really love, and I love them because they write characters so well, even if you don't get a lot of like background story, you don't get a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say expose, but that's
Oh,
exposition.
exposition. Yeah.
Yeah, even if you don't get a lot of exposition, you are like immediately endeared to these people because they're so real. Um and he also writes really beautiful like LGBTQ stories, even though he's like I always single out Nick D'Amici because I just love him, but it's both of them. They they write such good characters and such beautiful stories, and I just really love their work. And it helps that Nick D'Amici does star in a lot of the things that they direct together, and I think he's a great actor, and I just love him. So uh yeah, they're a good team. I would suggest, I love the Stakeland movies, but I totally understand if that's not your thing because they are
Uh,
like darker horror movies.
I like those two.
Yeah. Um but something a little bit more, I think, accessible to people who aren't huge horror fans would be they did a series called Happen Leonard, which was an adaptation of like a book series, but they did it really well, and I think the characters they wrote are really great.
I keep meaning to watch that.
Yeah.
That's been on my list, and I think you're the one that told me to watch it
Yep.
because Omar from The Wire's in that, whose
Yes.
name
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
escaping me
he's
right
great.
now. Michael.
I don't.
Is escaping me. Makes
They
me sad.
also they also directed a movie called We Are What We Are, which is about a family of cannibals, which
That
there's
sounds
that.
fun.
But yeah, I love their stuff.
Hell yeah. Number 14.
Top 3 films. This is hard.
This was easy for me.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay, number 1 is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Wow.
Could be recency bias. I don't know yet, but
It is great.
that movie is a perfect movie to me.
Yeah.
And it's just frenetic, and which plays into my ADHD type of brain. It's sci-fi.
Yeah.
It ties itself up pretty well. It's got like decent, like really good actually character arcs
Mhm.
and a good overall story. And it's really fucking funny and
Yeah, it
really
is.
like it
I
throws
screamed so many times.
yeah. We watched that one together. That was really
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah,
And
twice.
it's the style of comedy that honestly is not unlike Monty Python and like Taika Waititi. They're
Mhm.
throwing non sequiturs at you that you're not expecting.
Yeah,
And it's I love that movie. So
it's so good.
if it wasn't Everything Everywhere All at Once, it would be Inception. That was previously
Mhm.
my favorite movie of all time. That's the first time I've had my mind fucked like that. Except for maybe like Fight Club.
Oh,
But
see,
that's
I
more
had
of like,
Fight Club ruined for me, so I didn't
yeah,
get
that
that.
sucks. That sucks.
Yeah.
What did your brother ruin for us?
He ruined
he ruined it for you, not for me.
Yeah, the Lee Pace show.
Oh, Halt and Catch Fire.
Yes.
We're not gonna say how he ruined it.
No, he spoiled a character death for me, really inadvertently. He like
I might cut that.
retweeted. Nuh-uh.
If you watch Halt and Catch Fire, you're gonna be able to guess, I feel like.
No, you won't.
Okay, all right.
He like retweeted a quote tweet, and in the original tweet there was a reference to a character death, and we were literally about to watch the episode where that happens, and I was like,
And it was in deep in season 4.
Yeah.
Like right when the show is about to end, and it was so random.
Seriously.
That's the weirdest spoiler I think I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
Just so fucking out of nowhere and by accident. So weird. I might honestly cut that.
You go for it. You're the one editing.
I don't know. Nobody's ever gonna watch Halt and Catch Fire again. That's like a niche.
No, it's been around long enough where that shouldn't be.
Yeah, fuck it. We'll let it go. I hate spoilers though. That's another thing about me.
Yeah, but it's like a 10-year-old show.
Yeah. Very good though. I highly recommend it.
Yes, it is.
You didn't say yours yet.
No, but you only said 2 movies.
Oh, I'm sorry. Inception and The Matrix was the third. The Matrix flipped my world on its head when it came out. It was so fucking insane. I'd never seen anything like that. And it was also like completely out of nowhere for me because it was 1998, 99. And you really didn't get trailers on the internet at that point.
Yeah.
So if you were to learn about a movie like this, it would be like on a forum or something, or you would see a trailer before another movie. But I didn't really go to the movies that often. So my friend had it on VHS. He like rented it, and we were visiting him, and he was like, "You want to watch this?" I said, "I don't know what it is, but okay." And then he popped it in, and it fucking like blew my hair back. And it also really jump-started my love of electronic dance music. Because and it really sparked everything I've done with music ever since then. Like I remember asking my friend, who was maybe one of the smartest people I've ever met. He's like a hacker dude. We were in the same circle, and I was like, how did they do that music like that? And then Trent Reznor came up for some reason, and he said that Trent Reznor like sequenced his music with some program called a tracker. And that night we downloaded it, and I started fucking with it. And that was like the first time I made digital music.
Wow. I really thought, the reason I laughed is I really thought you were going to say it opened my eyes to hacking, but then you said EDM instead.
Yeah, EDM. My eyes were open to hacking way before that. What are yours?
So I think my top movie of all time has to be the Mummy, Brendan Fraser, 1999. Yeah. It's a great movie. It's so.
Is he wet in that?
Brendan Fraser's. I don't think so. It's the desert.
Someone email us and let us know if you remember Brendan Fraser being wet in that.
I've seen it hundreds of times. I think I would.
That's true. You might have the most views of anyone in the world.
Yeah. But it's a fucking great movie.
It is. I like it.
Second favorite, Jurassic Park. It's a classic. My brother was a huge Jurassic Park fan, had dinosaur everything. So like I got a bunch of dinosaur hand-me-down stuff and saw Jurassic Park probably way too young and just kind of like developed that love from an early age.
That's news to me. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. And lastly, I think What We Do in the Shadows. I fucking love that movie, and it's another one that I'll rewatch over and over again and always laugh at the same jokes.
Yeah, that movie's awesome. That explains the dinosaur cookie jar that we spotted. What was that in?
I always say IT crowd, Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley, that's right.
Yeah.
That was so random.
I know. There was like one of the last episodes of Silicon Valley. It was like showing the office they worked in, and I was like, I have that dinosaur cookie jar.
To be fair, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Do you just have cookie jars? Does
No, it
anyone
was
keep cookies in a cookie jar?
no, it was actually a gift from somebody.
Oh,
And I think I just have like really old candy in there. It's just for aesthetics. But yeah, same vein. What are your top 3 television series?
The Wire is number 1.
Which I still haven't seen. I need to.
I would put I would say we should watch that together, but that's a long boy.
Mm.
I would put The Wire and The Sopranos on the same tier. They came out around the same time on HBO, and HBO like really pioneered binge watching, and those were the 2 shows. And another one they had called 6 Feet Under.
Oh, I remember that.
6 Feet Under was great, but The Wire really got me. I didn't catch it when it was airing. Same with The Sopranos. I was like a few seasons late.
Mm-hmm.
But once I started it, I didn't sleep. Like they fucking got me with their binge formula. They absolutely just got me. And that show is so good, and I recommend it to everybody. But not everybody wants to start it. I don't know how to like.
Yeah. It's a big commitment. It's hard to convince people to start TV shows at all.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to sell the premise because it's just about
Yeah.
drug dealers in Baltimore and the cops that they're fighting.
Right. It's not a lighthearted watch.
No, and it sounds like a generic premise, but it's so compelling, and they really wrote it to hook you, and they did a great job. My number 2 is Barry, which I want to make you watch maybe on this show.
Yeah, for the record, I don't dislike Barry, but we tried to watch it at one point and I just didn't get hooked. I think because we didn't get far enough into it to grab me, but also like the like actor girlfriend and her crew were just not likable characters whatsoever. And I was just like, why do you want to be with these people?
To be fair, I hate that character too. I think most people do not like that character.
Yeah, I think it just by that point hadn't introduced enough characters to keep me wanting to watch. Yeah. So I need to like get a little further.
I have faith you're gonna like Barry.
Yeah, I've only heard good things. Everybody I know loves it.
Yeah, it really gets its wheels in season 2. And then 3rd was Breaking Bad, which is like the cliche basic bitch one. But that kind of like The Wire. I got to that one late and like didn't sleep. I binged through that like all 5 seasons, I think, in a day or 2.
I never watched it. Again, it just like wasn't a premise that I gave a shit about.
It's not so much the premise, but the way that it's written is just it's written to get a hold of your like intestines and really like squeeze. And then at the end of the episode, you just, I don't know, it feels like you don't have relief, but you have to watch the beginning of the next episode to get the relief.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they figured out Vince Gilligan's a master. He just figured it out, and that series is amazing.
Yeah, I think in reality, there's so many TV shows that I know that if I sat down and started, I would be hooked.
Yeah.
But like knowing that about myself, I purposely don't. And I think that was one of them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What are your top 3 television series?
These are all so different.
Probably, yeah.
So number 1 is AMC's The Terror season 1.
We watched that. It was good.
We did. It is like, I know it took you a little while to get into it because it does have kind of a slow start, but I love the book that it's based on, The Terror. And I have this fascination with shipwrecks.
Yeah.
So like I kind of knew the story a little bit, and it's like a highly fictionalized retelling, but it's still like AMC's The Terror. I have to put AMC there. I don't know why. The Terror is like made for me. When I saw the premise, I was like, there's no way I won't like this.
Right. Yeah.
And again, it is just season 1 because it's an anthology series, so each season is a totally different subject. But I just the characters are so well written. The cast is fucking incredible. The story is great, but it is slow. It picks up after a while, but I think it takes like 4 episodes to really get going. Um, I don't totally love the special effects, but that was like the one major flaw for me, and I think it has enough redeeming qualities to make that fine with me. So that's my number 1. It is horror, so if you're not into that, I understand. I've tried to convince so many people to watch The Terror, and I think Jesse was like the first person that agreed.
It was good. It was
And
just a little
yeah,
slow, and you're right about the special effects, but otherwise,
yeah, they were real bad. Um, my second favorite is Fleabag,
oh,
which is another one I made Jesse watch.
that one's the
Uh,
fucking best, except for that one guy with the
it's
goddamn teeth.
Jesse was like, "Are those his real teeth? I hate the teeth."
No, I don't. And look, kudos to him if they are,
They're not.
but if they're not, then fuck the creators for doing that to me. Because like it takes you out of the story. All you do is stare at that. But that's the point.
That's the point.
I know that's the point of the character. But
oh man, he's not likable by any means.
no, and he's all ugh. I wanted to shoot him into the sun immediately, and they just kept going back to the well.
But it's such a good show, and specifically season 2, I'll go back and rewatch over and over again. It's so funny, but it's also like I'll sob watching it over and over again too.
Yeah.
But it's like the same thing with The Terror. It's so short. There's like a total of 6 30-minute episodes, and it's only 2 seasons. So like 6 per season, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And The Terror is only 10 episodes total. So I love all these very short-lived things. But yeah, Fleabag's fucking great. If you haven't seen it yet, you got it.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely watch that.
And then my last one is so totally different from both of those. It's Psych. I grew up watching Psych, and like literally I have a strong memory of the first time I ever saw it. I was on a school field trip to Disneyland, and I was sharing a hotel room with a bunch of like classmates or fellow band members at the time, and somebody else turned it on, and I just immediately loved it, and then like didn't know what it was, so I didn't see it again for a while. And when I finally did, I was like, oh my god, that's what it was. So like I totally understand that it's a cheesy USA show, and it absolutely is. It's like a crime procedural, but it's like the first couple of seasons were just so different than anything I had seen, because my grandma used to watch me and my brother after school, and she was always watching like Murder, She Wrote or Matlock, where the crime is taken so much more seriously. So Psych was just like a screwball comedy version of that, essentially. And it was just like really endearing at the time. So I love to go back and watch it, because at this point it's super nostalgic.
Do you know how much Matlock I've watched in my life? It's an insane amount, because I lived in the we never said where we're from.
2 hours
Yeah,
later.
2 hours. Oh, by the way, what's our code? Let's do code C24678. If you DM that to me, then I'll know you like us as friends, because it's been 2 hours and you're still
so much longer than we intended.
We're basically doing an episode of Joe Rogan.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, I mean, without the alt-right stuff. Yeah, but the length. I feel like it's okay. I think we're being interesting enough.
They won't. Yeah, this is all of this smushed into one episode.
Yeah,
so we're just having a good time.
Yeah, and it's kind of a get to know us, because the next episodes are not going to be this long. They're going to be like little 30-minute, maybe quick hitters, and then watch alongs that are 2 hours where we're not talking nearly this much.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, Matlock. Anyway, you're from Northern California near San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm from North Carolina right now near Charlotte, but I grew up in Virginia in the middle of nowhere, and we didn't have like cable or satellite. It was all over the air, and I could pick up like 2 or 3 channels. One was really staticky, and I was a night owl. So anything that was on late night was black and white, and it was like Perry Mason, the Beverly Hillbillies, Leave It to Beaver, Matlock,
Oh yeah, man.
and Andy Griffith Show.
Yep.
So I've probably watched more than your grandma has, Matlock. I watched so much Matlock.
But like, so have I, but just because
You hate
I was
watched it.
there. I didn't hate it. It was just like, it was on, so I had to watch it.
I need to watch Psych, but I don't want to commit to watching that with you because there's like 8 seasons.
No, that's fine. It's one that, it's like one of my background shows that I'll just kind of put on while I'm doing other things.
Yeah, I have those too.
I have a upsetting amount of the first couple seasons memorized at this point.
Psych is going to be my next. Currently, my background show is MASH. I'm rewatching that for like the 8th time. But I think after that, I'm going to do Psych because I've been meaning to watch it. I've only ever seen like scattered episodes, like replays.
Yeah. It's like the first, I want to say 3 seasons are really solid. After that, they start making Sean Spencer like dumber and dumber and just getting into wackier scenarios.
Right.
So it does fall off. There are definitely gems in the later seasons, but it's not as consistently good.
Okay. Well, I'm going to check it out regardless.
Yeah.
That was 3, right?
Yes.
Damn, I'm sorry. I keep going on these tangents. This runtime is my fault, I feel like.
We both have.
And then number 16.
Yeah. What's a movie you hate that everyone else loves? This is where you're going to start falling off of me, I think.
This is going to be controversial, I think, for a lot of people.
I don't know what yours is.
Mine is so out of left field for such a weird reason. So mine is Hook.
Interesting. Okay, go on.
I love Robin Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Peter Pan. And I hate Hook. And it's for the same reason almost. So when I would go to my grandma's house when I was younger, she lived even more boonies than I lived in Virginia. She lived in like the far southwestern part of Virginia in the mountains. They got no television stations. So when I was there, it was whatever they had on tape. And she had 14 kids. So it was like my dad had 13 brothers and sisters and they all had kids. So anytime I would visit, it was group watch and it was fucking Peter Pan most of the time. Or I also hate Robin Hood for this reason. Because that cartoon with Robin Hood where he's a fox.
Yeah.
I saw it so many times and I hated it because I was never that kid. Like I wasn't the Disney kid. Mm-hmm. I could stomach it, but I never preferred it. And
that makes sense. You know, you're being beat over the head with a movie you didn't even want to watch in the first place.
Okay, so Hook hits me on 2 levels. Because 1, I hate fucking Peter Pan because of that. 2, I was a daycare counselor for a couple of years. And one of those summers, all they let the kids watch was Hook.
Oh no.
Over and over. So whenever someone tells me like they worked retail and Mariah Carey makes them want to kill people, I'm like, I get it. Because everybody in the world loves Hook and I fucking despise it. I can't stand it. I'll never watch it again.
Oh man, that's traumatic. Yeah, I don't blame you at all.
Which sucks because I bet it's good. Like if I didn't watch Peter Pan,
probably
then because Robin Williams is the best.
Yeah. Hook is just one of the ones that like I don't have a connection to because I didn't watch it as a kid, so I don't have the same nostalgic ties to it that everybody does. Yeah. So I don't have a strong opinion either way. So I don't blame you.
You know what? The Matrix wasn't my top 3. It was Good Will Hunting. I forgot about it. That was question number 8. I went back. I went on a backwards tangent.
Edit point.
Edit. No, I was good.
No.
Good Will Hunting's the shit. What are yours?
So I think my movie is going to be more controversial, but just know I can explain, okay? Mine is The Shining.
I'm not that far off.
I don't think it's an original concept by any means, and it's because I am obsessed with like ghost shows, or I used to be. Like I grew up watching the reenactments, like The Haunting or A Haunting, I forget what they're called, but there were all these like reenactment shows where people told ghost stories and they had these terrible reenactments. So like the husband getting angry and starting to turn on the family is just like a really tropey story that I've heard 100 times before. And The Shining just I don't I'm just not a fan. I don't think it tells anything groundbreaking. It is pretty to look at, but I also don't like. It's late, so forgive me for blanking on the director's name. Please, Kubrick.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick.
I don't like Kubrick. I think he's an edgelord. I think he just makes things weird for the sake of making them weird. So, I'm not a big fan of the style either. I'm not a huge Jack Nicholson fan. So like it just none of it really clicked for me. And the fact that it's like a film school movie that people just laud and, just effusively praise. And I don't think it earned that. And like, I get it being kind of an accessible horror movie for people who aren't big fans of horror in general. But I think there are better movies out there that tell the same story.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. But I feel like I think I agree on some level about the storytelling, but I've not seen that movie much. I think I saw it the first time like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think we watched it with you for the first time.
And it wasn't the story I cared about so much, but it is very pretty. Like it's exceptionally well directed, and the cinematography is very good. But I also I like Stanley Kubrick.
I just don't.
That's
I mean, that's a personal preference thing, but
he
it is nice to look at.
Like,
100%.
He's not the greatest guy.
Yeah, Duvall will never be the same.
No.
So yeah, it's just not. I don't absolutely hate it. I can tolerate it. I think it's kind of a fun one to watch with a group of people, especially if there's someone in the group who's never seen it before. But it's not one I'll ever go back to on my own.
I think if I saw it in its time, I would feel differently about it.
Maybe.
Because I think it was like genre bending, groundbreaking at the time. But now it's like I've seen that story so often.
It's also it's like a problem I have with Stephen King. Like I hate his endings. That's not a new thing, everybody does. But like I just don't love his writing in general. So it had nothing for me.
That's fair. I'm not that high on Stephen King either. There's like some things he's done that I love, like Maximum Overdrive is just stupid but really fun. But there's shit like Stephen King has written that I have no clue he's written. He's just so prolific.
Yeah, it's true.
I probably have a favorite Stephen King movie and don't realize it. Stephen King. I'm punch drunk. I had a long day at work.
I know. It's so late. We only have a couple more questions,
though.
Do this. What number 17 is? What have I shown you that you didn't like? And I know your answer and you know mine.
I think so, yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and start?
Hell on Wheels with the Wet Boy.
So Hell on Wheels is a Western about a gentleman who was a former Confederate soldier that goes to work on the railroad in an effort to hunt down his wife's murderers and then just ends up staying there.
Yeah. It was watchable for 2 seasons.
Yes. I was just going to say the first 2 seasons were fine. You noped out, like, I think it was either end of 2nd season or beginning of 3rd season.
I don't think it was the end. I think there was a specific part where it's like the milk test where you see the milk in the fridge and you open it up and you whiff it and it's like, oh fuck. No. And it was an episode. It was this episode where there's this Mormon family who will not give up their land. I don't remember the specifics. I remember that this Mormon dude basically
They go there
sacrifices
with
his kid.
They go there with the sheriff to essentially try to claim the land, and somebody, we don't see who, somebody shoots the sheriff.
Yeah.
And they come back with more officers and essentially say, like, whoever shot him is going to get hung, so why don't you fess up to it? And the dad blames the son.
Yeah. And then
They hang him.
Lets him hang is some of the worst storytelling I can remember in a TV show in my life. It was like immediately like, this character is ridiculous.
Which, like, I effusively disagree with. There are so many more wild things that happen that I completely understand why Jesse would hate. But that particular moment, I just could not understand why it rubbed him the wrong way.
No, it was the milk test. I was like, okay with the show until this point, and then that sour whiff
then
got
I
in my
made you
nose.
chug that whole
That's what I
thing
mean.
of sour.
That's what I'm getting to. Like, I smelled the sour and then I had to drink it. And that first whiff just fucking ruined it. It was like the worst writing I can remember. It made zero sense. It made no sense.
I don't agree with that, but I will say I spared him. There are technically 5 seasons of this show. I did not make him watch the 5th season, but I did make him watch all of 3.
Are you going to say that Hell on Wheels was Hell on Wheels? Yeah, it's like one of your favorite shows, right?
It wasn't in my top 3, but I do really like it.
But it's got
the first 2 seasons are really good.
It's got a trash season that you don't even want to watch.
So does IT Crowd for you, pal.
Fair enough. But that came later, and I think it was one-off. Like that, I don't think that was a season. I think it was a movie.
You told me specifically, like, not to watch the last 2 seasons.
Just the last one, because it was like one of those.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. That's the same thing you're telling me right
now.
No,
so for IT Crowd, they came back later and did it. There's a show called Dead Like Me. Dead Like Me did the same thing, and it failed in the same.
I would like to talk about my thing.
Okay, go talk about your thing.
So this is less Jesse's fault, honestly, because this is a movie that we both watched together for the first time at the same time. It's not one that he liked and showed me. It was a movie called X, which is a horror movie. It's A24, I believe. It's about this group of young adults making a porno who, like, go to this remote location and, like, rent a cabin from this weird old couple and then start getting murdered one by one.
Yeah.
And, like, right after the first kill, it immediately gets real weird. Like, the murderer just starts dancing.
Which is where it hooked me.
Which is where I said no. So, like, it gets so weird. The movie just proceeds to get weirder and weirder and, like, not explain itself in any way.
You need to watch spoilers for this one. This one's
I'm not gonna say specifics, but it just, like, in my mind, it was so irredeemably weird without backing it up with plot, which, if we'll go back to my nopes on movies, is the biggest one. Right. So I, like, walked out fucking angry after watching that because I felt like my time was just wasted. And Jesse's like, I loved it.
Yeah, I really love that one. And I remember, like, not understanding why you didn't.
Yeah, like, we continued to talk about it into the next day because
we referenced this particular movie like 10 times in this episode because this is a perfect example of me throwing you to the wolves. Because I definitely did.
Yeah.
We got in a fortnight and I was like, Felicia didn't like X. Go.
But that was real. I really didn't like X. You do that with plenty of movies I didn't actually hate.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, that's essentially it. Like, I felt like it was just trying to shock me And I had so many unanswered questions after it was over, and not just like, really makes you think type unanswered questions.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't explain these plot points type unanswered questions.
Yeah.
And apparently they're coming out with a prequel, which means I wasn't alone in thinking that.
I mean, maybe.
So yeah, I fucking hated that movie, but Jesse loved it. So who knows? You can go watch it and see what you think.
I think it's polarizing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. As soon as that dance thing happened, I was hooked because it was like they weren't taking themselves seriously. And
But I felt like they were. I really felt like they still were taking it very seriously.
I don't know. We can't do this argument again because
No,
we interpreted that
can't.
movie so differently.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had like a subsection. Your opinion was very high, mine was very low. Something that
I mean, same thing.
It's
Yeah.
the same thing. And then I would have said the reverse for me would have been like Cold Skin, where that's another one where we had completely different interpretations of the story.
Yeah. You didn't hate Cold Skin though, did you?
No, I didn't hate it. I didn't. The writing felt weird. Like near the end of it, the writing didn't feel right.
There are definitely movies that we've watched where afterwards you'll be like, I don't understand why this happened.
Yeah.
And I have like a completely different take on it, so it didn't faze me.
Oh,
And usually with
I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep cutting you off. I just remembered what it was. I didn't understand why you liked it so much because the character was getting raped ostensibly.
Okay. And this is why it pisses me off because like it's so hard to explain without just explaining the entire backstory of the movie. But I feel like you harping on that was almost like when people say they hate villains because they're bad. And I'm like, well, that's the point of a villain.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, of course bad shit is happening, but I'm not condoning that by liking the whole film.
We had different interpretations, and the grooming.
We did have different interpretations of the ending. I felt like it was hopeful and you felt like it was really melancholy.
Yeah,
So like
I thought it was dark.
I think we just had different interpretations of the movie in general, which might be exactly what they were aiming for.
Yeah, it's kind of the mark of good art, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I hated it.
I think that's kind of a different. Well, I mean, I guess it's the same with X. We did kind of interpret it differently.
Yeah.
But I don't think there was as much to interpret.
No, I stopped caring about the story. So I wasn't even like interpreting the story. I was just having fun with it then.
I stopped having fun as soon as that person started dancing.
They were doing such ridiculous shit.
Yes.
I'm not going to spoil anything. Move on.
We'll move on.
Moving on.
18. We're so almost there. I think we can kind of blast through these. 18. What's something people would make fun of you for liking?
For me, it's Breakin'.
Oh.
I don't think I've showed that to you.
You've tried. I didn't watch.
Oh, you noped out. That's right.
I noped out.
You know, Heather and Lexi stuck with me, I think.
Well, maybe you should start a podcast with them.
No, it's not as interesting as the people that nope out. You think you'll ever nope out at anything on this show?
I don't think so, because that wasn't even like, let's sit down and watch this movie. We had finished another movie and then you just started playing it. And I was like, no. That's staying for a whole other movie.
I forgot about that little tidbit. That's like a little that's a nice little I'm a troll.
Yes.
That was a troll move.
Yes, it was.
Because for nice people, it locks them in place. Which is probably why Lexi and Heather sat through that whole fucking garbage dumpster fire of a movie with me. But it's Breakin' and it's horrendous. And it's an 80s movie about breakdancing that is just so bad. It's almost like a musical, but just terribly written and cheesy as fuck. And just every stereotype of that time is present. And it's got Jean-Claude Van Damme in a one piece. But like talking about living in the boonies, it was one of the only tapes I had. So I wore it out. Like I watched that like
oh my god
hundreds of times, I think. because there was a period when we first moved there where we didn't even have a TV with an antenna. So
Damn.
that's what I watched. So yeah, Breaking is the one that people would make fun of me for liking, probably.
Yes. Mine is Ghost Adventures.
Is that a
I
movie?
no, it's a
Oh,
show.
okay.
I fucking love Ghost Adventures. It's these, well, I don't know how many there are now. I think 4 idiots who go to they're professional ghost hunters, so they go to different haunted locations and lock themselves in overnight. And there's like 20 something seasons at this point. It's gone on for a ridiculously long time. But the main guy, the host, is Zach Bagans, and I think a lot of people hate him because they think that he's like purposely bullshitting and like pretending and just knows he can make money off of this. But my own opinion is that he's just this big, dumb, meaty himbo who genuinely thinks that everything he's doing is completely legitimate. So with that mindset, I love the show.
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
It used to be 3 hosts, and it was Zach, Nick, and Aaron. I think they had some kind of falling out with Nick because he just randomly disappeared at one point.
Right.
But Aaron is like this really sweet guy who they always just, whenever there's a specific place in this haunted location that's like extra haunted by something terrible, it's like, this is the room where the demon scratches people's eyes. They'll be like, Aaron, go investigate that. So like, it's just so ridiculous and goofy, but at the same time they're all taking it so seriously. And I think every once in a while they actually do find some kind of cool paranormal like evidence. They capture something interesting, but for the most part it'll just be them being like, whoa dude, did you feel that? Whoa. And like they can't back it up with any kind of evidence.
I have
But
seen things like that.
I just love it.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I feel like that one's better than Break-In.
Maybe. I think it's just a little controversial because Zach Bagans is a very polarizing figure. A lot of people just hate him, and I just adore him. Okay, number 19. What's something I don't know about you?
Let's make this a quick one. I doubt you knew I was a daycare counselor.
I didn't.
No, and it's not really in my personality because I don't even like kids. But back then I like idolized my daycare counselor. He was like one of the only good adults in my life. He's like taught me how to play he taught me how to play sports. I think he was the reason I love sports. But yeah, I remember
That's nice.
I became a
You were
daycare
just like, I wanna
counselor
be
because
that.
he was a daycare counselor. I just wanted another excuse to hang out.
Aw, that's wholesome.
Yeah, it could never happen today. Because I remember he took me to the mall one time, but it's like not cringe, not creepy. But if I was looking at that same dynamic myself right now, it's creepy.
Well, especially when you got people faking daycare safety certificates.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I don't know if that type of person exists, but he was like just maybe he knew my home life sucked or something. I don't know.
Probably,
But
yeah.
he'll yeah, lost track of him. I've looked on Facebook a few times, but he's got like a very generic name. I'll never find him. But yeah,
Maybe this podcast will reunite you.
never, never, ever. But yeah, that was mine. I was daycare counselor. Oh, and one time a group of kids came in and one of them put a gun to my head and I had to testify against him.
What the fuck? That's not just an oh yeah, by the way.
How old was I? I think it was like 13 or 14. It was a BB gun. I should probably stipulate that.
Oh.
But it looked real and it was real enough to freak out all of the other staff.
Yeah, Jesus.
And that guy, I sent him to juvie. I was a snitch.
Good.
I was a little snitch bitch.
Damn, fuck that guy.
But that was before I knew that snitches get stitches. I was just a young boy.
Yeah, but I don't think yeah, I think that's justifiable. Mine, like, I really struggled with this because I feel like I just tell you whatever. And we've had a lot of random conversations, and I couldn't think of anything that wasn't just like boring or sad. But I guess something that like you might have picked up on, but don't know to what extent. Like, I can't lie. Uh, I
Yeah.
if I can, well, okay, I can't lie if I'm talking to someone in real time, especially face to face. Like, if you ask me a question, you will know if I'm lying because I'll either like pause for way too long or my face will completely give it away. Uh
Hmm.
if I if I'm like typing out something and have time to think about it, I can, but usually I'll just try to find something to say that like diverts. Like usually, say somebody comes to me and they're like, "What do you think of this painting I did?" and it's absolutely hideous. I can
Ah,
usually find something to say. I
yeah.
can be like, "I really like the composition you used," or "Wow, cool colors." Um so, like, I'm just terrible at flat out lying to the point where you'll know that I'm not telling the truth either by the look on my face or the very indirect answer I give you.
I don't think I did know that, but I'm also very trusting.
Yeah,
So you could probably just lie to me, especially if I'm like
I
if
can't.
we're deep in
You'll
a
know.
friendship. You pretty much get away with a lot with me.
I mean, I think that anyone can tell like little white lies just to spare people's
Yeah.
feelings. Uh, but I can't flat out lie. Like, even in school, teachers would know that I didn't understand a concept just by looking at my face, and they would just like scan the room, see me, and then just
Yeah.
re-explain it. So like I wear my emotions on my face. It's hard to for me to slip past you.
Yeah. That's funny. I don't try to lie.
I mean, I don't either, but
Do you think that
sometimes
comes
it's
from not
difficult.
being good at it?
Maybe. I think more it's just like I always had this crippling fear of authority growing up and never trusted that I could get
Mm,
away with anything. So I just didn't try.
right on. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's fun. I'll use it to my advantage.
Wow, great. Last
Oh
question.
boy, I can't believe this is
2.5
2.5
hours
hours.
later.
This is a good these are about how long our watch alongs are going to be sometimes, so maybe it's
Yeah.
kismet. Maybe this is like if you want to see if you could tolerate us for the entire length of a movie. That's a good
Not that
episode.
we'll be talking relentlessly the entire movie,
No.
but yeah, lengthwise.
Yeah. Last one.
Last one. What is your favorite movie or TV show that I introduced you to?
Mine is Clue. I knew it immediately.
Oh, that's great. I was so shocked you hadn't seen that one.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it. I had seen who's the Rocky Horror Picture Show guy whose name I'm blanking on?
Tim
Thank you. Tim
Curry.
Curry.
I almost said Tim Burton.
I always
My bad.
either say Tim Burton or Tim Robbins for some reason. But yeah, Tim Curry. I'd seen him in relation to it, but I had no
Mhm.
concept of what that movie was. It just was never on my radar. Um
Mhm.
and I never really got into the Rocky Horror Picture Show either. So I feel like those
Same.
are like maybe big theater kid movies because like what's the other one? Uh, Little Shop of Horrors. I didn't really
Mm.
get into until recently. So I think there's just a whole swath of movies hanging around that I just weren't on my radar from the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, I think I was just surprised because generally you're the one who shows me things that I haven't heard
Yeah.
of. So I was like, "Whoa, really? There's one that I love that you haven't heard of?
Yeah,
Damn."
but I do have blind spots. It'll be fun
Yeah.
to suss those out.
But yeah, Clue's a real good one.
Yeah.
My favorite, it's hard to pinpoint a specific movie, but we had one period of watching Val Kilmer movies,
Yeah, that was fun.
and that was my favorite. I think like it started with Tombstone, and like I'm sure I had seen Val Kilmer in things, but not recognizably so, and I didn't
Right.
really know who he was that much. So after Tombstone, I was like, I think I love him.
Was
So we
Tombstone,
watched a whole bunch.
was
Huh,
that one of the first things we watched by ourselves?
probably.
That may have, yeah, I'm like misremembering my own history because in my
Yeah, I
head,
think it was earlier on.
I'm glad we did this because in my head when we started this, I thought it was horror in VR until you brought
No,
it
I
up.
actually joined that later. Like you
Yeah.
guys had started watching horror before I got there.
Yeah. And that's right. My memory is so bad. But
Yeah, it's because you invited me to VR because we had started watching stuff
that's
together,
right.
and you just wanted to be able to watch stuff together in VR
Yeah.
regardless of movie nights.
Yeah. Jesus. My memory's so bad. I forgot about the whole Val Kilmer string of like I feel like that's where we hit the stride.
Yeah, we watched Tombstone and The Doors and Real Genius.
Oh, Real Genius
Uh,
was
that was one of my
close
favorites.
to my top 3 when I forgot about
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting. I love Real Genius.
But yeah, that was a good kick of movie.
The Saint.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what we never watched?
Huh.
Top Gun.
Oh, that's true. We do still need to, especially with the new
We
one.
should do that with the show here.
Nice.
Like because of my dumb brain thing, I can't see Top Gun Maverick and I so want to.
Yet.
Yeah, so I have to wait for it to come out on streaming, which is kind of what this
Yeah.
show, what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, we want to watch things on this show that will be accessible to everybody
yeah,
and don't force you to like necessarily rent something or go to the theater.
yeah. There's stuff that's
So
in the zeitgeist.
yeah.
But I think we are gonna have like potentially start recording like another one a week or another every 2 weeks or something like that. One that we pick, like a classic.
Yeah.
But for the main show feed, I think we're gonna have, yeah, it's gonna be like what came out on streaming last week, and we'll guess ratings on stuff in the theater, and then when the stuff in the theater comes around, we'll watch that. So yeah, that would be great for Top Gun. Maybe we could do like, we'll do, our pick could be the original Top Gun, and then the stream pick will be Top Gun Maverick, and we can continue our Val Kilmer-ness.
Heck yeah.
That's cool. How did we not watch Top Gun in our Val Kilmer?
I think we meant to, and then we just started watching other things.
I don't know if that's true. I think we might have just omitted it because we watched the Val Kilmer documentary.
We did.
And I feel like we were watching them in order. You know what it was? After The Saint, his career got real rocky.
Yeah, I do remember looking through like his filmography and being like, I don't know which ones of these are worth watching.
Yeah, it got super rocky, but we started with Tombstone and then we went sequentially up through the years, and Top Gun was before Tombstone. So I think that's what happened. But we did watch Real
I
Genius.
guess so.
I don't know how the fuck we missed Top Gun.
I don't know, but we'll fill in that gap.
We'll get there. We did it. We did it. We did a whole Joe Rogan length episode.
Oh, stop saying.
What about what's another long form? We talked so long my mouse went to sleep. You can come on, little mouse, you can move.
Little mouse.
The Leo mouse. Another long form. You got Joe Rogan.
You don't have to do this.
No, I really don't. I'm punch drunk. My work day sucked, and we probably shouldn't have recorded this late.
But you know what? We had a good time.
Yeah. I actually had a great time.
And we know so much about each other now, and you know so much about us and what the show is going to be, hopefully.
I can't wait to see if someone DMs or emails that code that I threw out at the 2-hour mark.
You got to do a new one now because we're 2.5.
Oh, just stick around to the end.
Yeah.
That the end code is ZF4247.
Or just tweet butts at me and I'll know.
You have to scroll through the people that tweet butts at you regularly.
I'm so excited.
All right. We now know more about each other. I
Yes.
didn't know some of that stuff. And now the
Yes.
audience can decide whether or not they want to stick around with us for an entire movie. And wow, what a great time.
Wow. And now we can go to bed.
Yes, we can go to bed. I can go take a big drink of water.
Me too.
Let me tell you, I've never done podcasting before, so I'm discovering things that I should have had available to me. And water is the biggest.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's our first official episode.
That's the
in the
show. We're the
books.
idiots.
We're the dumb fucking idiots.
Come be a dumb idiot with us.
Yeah. Oh, Discord. Our Discord needs people.
Yeah.
Go to www.idiots.fm and there's a Discord boy at the top there. You just click that and come say hi.
Fuck yeah. Again, if you want to follow us on social media, I'm at Felicia3 on most things.
And I'm Al by Night on most things. And our show is Tito's Pod on most things. TITOS Pod. Basically on everything. And we're done.
And that's the show.
What do we?
Bye, everybody.
We should have talked about how to start and
Signing
end this.
off. Over and out.
What should our signature sign off be?
Over. Over.
Keep your boys wet and your men wetter.
Oh, no. Play the outro music.
I don't have outro music.
Oh no.
I'll just do that in post.
Oh god.
All right, everybody, keep your boys wet and your men wetter.